Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between. How the heck are you? Yes, this is the day that I am officially old. I'm not ancient yet. Give that a couple more years. But I am Diana Clarion, the Lavender Lady, and I am 63 years old today. Oh my God, take me out back and shoot me. Uh, And with me is my co-pilot, my compadre, my dear friend, Bionic Dance, Kate Farr. How are you here?
Waking up thanks to the coffee. I slept a lot longer than I usually do, so I'm actually a little more awake than usual, which is both a benefit and a drawback.
Okay then. Oh my word. Yeah, I was telling Kate before we went on. I hate to break a tradition because it's what the last couple of years already. I've done this birthday broadcast, so let's do it again until you guys get sick of me. Oh, look, it's the Bombardier.
The part that's funny to me is you think we're not sick of you yet.
There you go. Yeah,
Come on.
you're just being nice to me, right?
Well,
Doc.
well, okay. I mean, I'll tell you this much. I am glad that your parents fucked.
Whoever they are, yeah.
Well, there's that too. But I mean, seriously, I'm your continued mortal existence pleases me, pitiful earth creature.
Oh, yay! I am honored. Oh my, that is it's the amazing thing. I have to wonder. You talk about that. If those two people ever wonder, or at the very least, the one person who actually carried me around for 9 months, ever wonder what became
Their
of
arms
me?
get tired.
Yeah, pretty much. And no,
Yeah.
I know.
Or
What?
I said, go on.
I I know that it's somewhat arrogant, maybe, but I sometimes wonder if Biomom ever wonders whatever happened to that flesh loaf.
I don't think there's anything arrogant in that whatsoever. In fact, I think about that myself, being adopted and all. Like, do they ever wonder what the hell happened to my dumb butt? Or are they like, yeah, good riddance?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I would not blame Biomom or Biodad if Biodad even cared about me at all. Um, were they to say, uh, you know, as you say, good riddance, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because I was not cognizant, so I really didn't know or would not have known how they felt. So they could have said, I was a spawn of Satan, and I would have never have known it, and just go from there. Now those two, the slimy bastards, I did know what they thought of me, and they can. Um, it's just too bad there is no hell, really.
Sure there is. It's called high school.
Oh well, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean the
But
kind of
I have to wonder, I know we've talked about it before. Why did your parental units think that it was a good idea to get a kid? I just don't like. I know you've explained it. You've explained it multiple times, but I
hmm
don't rock anyway.
I know it's a real just someone who has any sense, just someone who has any compassion, just any of that shit. It's one of these things that you simply cannot understand. For the longest time, I didn't understand until she had taken my wife and I aside and said, it's your duty to have kids, and that explained a lot right there.
Yeah. Were they like unable or what? Like was
Okay,
your mom infertile or some shit?
yeah, she was. very much broken. The plumbing was totally shot. She had had peritonitis as a child, and I guess it screwed everything up inside. And in around 1949 or so, she had to have an hysterectomy.
I see.
Yeah. So that kind of put any ideas of a natural child to rest. Um, yeah, what can I tell you? Um, but I don't know how to feel about that one either. I mean, sometimes I wonder what those two would have produced. Um,
Well, for all you know, it might have been a good little drone the way they wanted.
that's one of the things I'm afraid of, or was afraid of. Yeah. And then the other thing was, I mean, there is quite a lot of mental and emotional problems, illness on both sides. A lot of depression. Um, his oldest sister was mildly schizophrenic. All kinds of stuff like that. And I know some of the stuff that's come out of unions with some of her sisters, pretty less than stellar, shall we say. So I can just imagine you put her and him together, and the gametes fusing. What the fuck would have come out of that?
Oof, I don't know, but it sounds undesirable. Have you ever like seen some people and you know right away that their kids are going to be like absolutely horrific?
Yes, yes, mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, it is your duty to not have kids.
Yeah, absolutely.
For the good of the world, just don't screw.
Absolutely. Well, Johnny, things got a lot better a couple years ago. I mean, he died in September 2016. She died the following May. So at least they don't physically exist anymore. They still haunt my nightmares, but what can you do about that?
Hmm.
Duck, sweetie, love you, and how are you doing? I know you had a bit of a scare there with one of the people at the hotel turned up positive for COVID.
Which hotel is this exactly?
The one that Doc Fearsome works at, and I forget which one that is.
I did not know that Doc Fearsome worked at a hotel.
Yeah, he does a night shift sort of thing going on there.
Sorry about that. I'm trying to keep Xander away from the coffee.
I wondered if that was Xander related. Yes.
Yeah, well, while moving his head away from the coffee, I knocked the mic a little.
Alrighty. Oh, there. Okay. Wait a minute. Okay. I suppose I have to.
What? What do you have to do?
I don't know. Do I?
What? What is it? Just
I
say.
suppose I have to give Tornado Pelt a link, don't I?
Oh, okay.
Oh, wait a minute. Search people. Okay, there's Doc. And then we'll go next. And we will paste. There we go. Da prenda balocopatia icere. No, I don't know what I just said. I don't. Really.
Why'd you say it?
Because I'm a foo-foo head.
Oh, yeah, I should have known that already.
Yeah,
That is
okay.
information I already had.
Oh my, oh my, oh my. Yeah, in case you've got the time, etc., come on in. Yeah, I know who that is. He'll jump on that link right away. Uh, well,
Dunk.
Bombardier, how you doing, honey?
Well, my mom is currently at the Squall Mart getting some, or she was planning on going to the Squall Mart to get some vegetable oil for beef and cheese egg rolls.
Oh
Oh.
boy, beef and cheese.
I have never in my life made an egg roll.
I wouldn't know how to make an egg roll, to tell you the absolute truth.
Oh,
So
just start
yes.
at the top of the hill and give it a push.
Okay, yeah, that would work.
Basically, my parental unit is at the store getting some supplies to recreate a classic from Missouri that I enjoyed very much.
Okay.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I do not know what happened to the other parental unit.
Hmm.
Oh, okay.
Considering they haven't really contacted me since Hurricane Michael started storming up and down the Florida Panhandle in 2018, well, quite frankly, if he doesn't really even care for me one jot, I don't know why.
Maybe he cares for you one tittle.
Yeah, that would be a good thing, because a tittle is rather smaller than a jot, isn't it?
I don't know. I just know the expression. That's all. I honestly couldn't tell you what any of them are, but I'll tell you this much. Both of those words sound extraordinarily British.
Uh-huh.
Considering this is the same parental unit that basically threatened me with either going to college or losing the child support, during a time when Mom and I were unsure of what our housing situation would be.
Oh, that's always nice.
And he stopped paying a year after we moved down here to Florida. Well, fun
Where
times
you
were had
before
by
Florida?
all.
Where were you before Florida?
Oh, I was in the Great Plains in Tornado Alley, Missouri.
Ah, gotcha. Only been to that state once, and I think it was enough.
Well,
Okay,
considering
yeah.
the fact that I was in that state for 18-ish, maybe 17, 18 years of my life, that's probably why I know a lot about weather. Now, you might think that there's really no association with living in Missouri and knowing a lot about weather, but considering Missouri is basically part of Tornado Alley, well, learning weather in Tornado Alley is kind of a survival skill.
It's funny.
Indeed.
All of it,
On that note, I encountered someone whilst watching a video of the April 29th to 30th superstorm of 2017. I encountered someone who claims that the thunderheads in that superstorm were made by NASA cloud machines.
Are you saying they weren't?
I'm just saying, where the heck does NASA have the technology to produce 160 plus kilotons of energy worth to generate such a storm in the first place?
Hey, if they can fake the moon landings, they can totally do that.
Yeah, I mean, they can keep that in what's left of Hangar S, really.
They don't.
Yeah,
They
if
put
by
an
what's left of
Area 51
Hangar
next
S
to
you mean a
UFOs.
radioactive crater in the ground.
No, they store all of that stuff in Area 51 next to the UFOs.
And next to the crate that contains the Ark of the Covenant, right?
How much? Oh man, I hate how Indiana Jones totally nuked the fridge, which is what I'm saying now instead of jumped the shark.
Okay.
Well, Indiana Jones did indeed nuke the fridge.
My point.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
that's the thing, is like that was the moment where I was just like, what, are you kidding me? Really? I don't think so.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but nobody should be casting Shia LaBeouf in anything.
Well, they cast him in iRobot.
Wait a minute,
I
Shia
barely even
LaBeouf,
remember
what?
that
What?
movie. I seriously barely even remember that movie.
Holy mother damn, she just shot at you with her eyes closed, Spoon. Hey, did you just shoot at me with your eyes closed?
Sure.
Okay.
I do not remember. If that was part of the movie, I don't remember even slightly.
Ouch!
What is the? I know I'm revealing my ignorance here, but what is the Shia
Oh,
LaBeouf?
this obnoxious fucking actor who was in everything for a while, and I got so freaking sick of him.
Oh, Shia LaBeouf. I call him Shia LaBeouf because he at least deserves that level of respect. I mean, he was in one of my favorite Transformers movies. Then again, there's only really two favorite Transformers movies, aside from...
There are two Transformers movies. One of them is the original one from 1986, and the other one's Bumblebee.
Well, in that case, three.
Okay.
Hey, I at least liked the 2007 one. The Revenge of the Fallen one with I am directly under the enemy's scrotum? Meh. The Dark of the Moon?
Murdered.
Yeah, the Dark of the Moon one is just And then Age of Extinction is like, no.
The fact that you even watched all of these, I mean, seriously.
I watch disaster movies on a regular basis.
Still, I mean, freaking Michael.
I am no stranger to B movies. Hell, recently I watched
B movies, dude. These are so much worse.
Hey, I can enjoy them for what they are, and what they are is, well, kind of stupid. But in those cases, I just want to shut my brain off and watch two giant robots duke it out with each other.
See, the thing is, you might like them for what they are, and that is precisely why I hate them for what they are. They're so bad.
Yeah, they have their strong points, and they have their really, really, really weak points.
Well, their weak point is the director. Michael Bay should be murdered.
Do you agree with him for what he did with Armageddon? Oh, right. I was going to say for what he did with Armageddon, but then again, Mr. You can destroy an asteroid by packing by launching half a dozen guys on a spaceship with a really big bomb.
Well, what was pointed out in something, I don't even remember what, was the whole thing where it's easier to teach astronauts to be engineers, to be demolition experts, than it is to teach demolition experts how to be astronauts. And so they should have just trained real astronauts instead of like Bruce Willis's whatever excavation.
Oil drilling team.
Yeah, them. Like seriously, that made no sense.
It's like, if you're going to deal with a comet, here's what you do. You get a really big spaceship with whacking great engines, you put it on a path which will allow you to move the comet into another orbit, and then you move the comet into an orbit that makes it so that it doesn't hit Earth.
Right away.
Instead, it allows you to mine the shit out of the comet and scrap it.
Alternately, you could just not make the movie in the first place.
Right. That would be a very good thing.
Yeah.
Well,
I recently rewatched Twister, and Twister was interesting. I'd forgotten just how 90s that movie is. I mean, number one, it's a who's who of 90s actors. But like number two, I mean, some of the just famous ass people who are in that movie. It's crazy. I mean, like Jamie Gertz and Helen Hunt and Carrie Elways, or however the hell you pronounce his last name.
Hi, Amanda.
Yeah, it's crazy. Oh, hey, how's it?
And Philip Seymour
Why
Hoffman.
is she naked?
I thought she had been bi at one time or another, but I guess not. She's naked no longer.
Bestow upon her a spanner, will you?
She is naked no longer.
There you go.
Actually, I could sit here and say that I was enjoying the view, but
Well, yeah.
But yeah,
Oh.
recently, like I said, I can enjoy a good B movie every now and then. I can even enjoy a couple D movies every now and then. But what I can't enjoy is an F movie.
I dare you to try watching Ishtar.
I dare you to try watching Disaster Movie.
Okay. I still dare you to try watching Ishtar.
I don't even know what the hell Ishtar is.
And consider yourself lucky. I mean, seriously, like, I turned it off after about 10 minutes. It's so bad.
Oh,
And I mean, and
my.
you're talking to someone who actually managed to sit through and complete watching The Room.
Holy hell! And you still have a brain left?
Well, I didn't say that.
Oh, okay, okay.
But no, seriously, oh my gosh, Ishtar is such a bad movie, and I don't even know if I can define why. It just
Everything about it reeks of buffalo brownies.
something like that. But again, I couldn't tell you why.
Okay, we're gonna look
The
at
movie
this.
is, let me put it this way, the movie is so bad that you don't even know why it's bad. You just know inherently that badness is in its DNA.
Pretty sure that's what I just said, but also, you've never even heard of it, so how would you know?
Okay, we have Chuck Clark and Lyle Rogers are inept songwriters who are down in their luck. Well, that's a tip off right there. But dream of becoming a popular singing duo in the mold of Simon Garfunkel. Oh, God, that's a big tip off. Though they are poorly received at a local open mic night, agent Marty Freed offers to book them as lounge singers in a hotel in Marrakesh, explaining that the last act quit due to political unrest in the. Oh my God!
I know, right? It sounds horrific.
What?
Okay, just
What
the very
was this?
premise alone.
Okay, hold on. Tornado, can you not yell?
Sorry,
I
just
want
the
to know.
very premise alone is almost an immediate turnoff.
I want to know what the scriptwriter was on.
Weed?
Well, I mean,
I've
maybe it's
never
one
had
of those.
weed
Like,
that
does the
crazy.
name is there a name on the page there? Who the director is?
Okay, directed by Elaine May, produced by
Oh.
Warren Beatty.
I mean, I've never heard of Elaine May. I wonder what else she's done.
Okay, let me get us this little guy up here.
Well, I'm guessing the answer is nothing.
Is an American comedian, film director, screenwriter, and actress. She made her initial impact in the 1950s from her improvisational comedy routines with Mike Nichols, performing as Nichols and May. After her duo with Nichols ended, May subsequently developed a career as a director and screenwriter.
Let's see here. Director. She has directed exactly 2 movies I've ever heard of, plus 2 others.
Okay, then.
I've never watched The Heartbreak Kid, but I've heard of it.
I think even I've heard of that one.
But yeah, I mean, like Warren Beatty and Dustin Hoffman, Charles Grodin, really, Carol Kane. Man, there's some decent actors in this thing, and it was such a piece of shit. I mean, it's got 4.4 stars out of 10 on IMDb.
Okay. But okay, in 96, she reunited with Nichols to write the screenplay for The Birdcage.
I'd forgotten about that. I'm looking at the trivia. It says in one of Gary Larson's The Far Side comic strips, captioned Hell's Video Store, the entire store is stocked with nothing but copies of Ishtar. Larson later apologized, saying, When I drew the above cartoon, I had not actually seen Ishtar. Years later, I saw it on an airplane and was stunned at what was happening to me. I was actually being entertained. Sure, maybe it's not the greatest film ever made, but my cartoon was way off the mark. There are so many cartoons for which I should probably write an apology, but this is the only one which compels me to do so.
Oh,
Really?
jeez.
It's so bad. Oh, man.
Maybe he likes shit films. I don't know.
I like disaster movies, which are basically shit films. There are some disaster movies where the premise is just so bad, but I just want to turn my brain off and enjoy senseless
Only
destruction.
one which compels me to do so. Really? Someone's
Egad.
got
Oh my
their
God. Yeah, we got.
Hello, hello.
Hi, honey.
Hi.
How
Hey,
you
Doc.
doing?
Okay, I gotta turn my speakers way the hell down because everyone's screaming.
Yikes. I'm sorry, did I put some sound in there? I didn't have my TV muted when I jumped on, so.
Oh,
A bit.
there was a little bit of stuff, but yeah, it sounds like it's been corrected. Yeah, I mean, when you came up with that little bit of news there, it was a little bit worrisome. That
Yeah, it still is worrisome. Yeah, there was a guest infected, and they're part of some work crew that they're actually doing wind turbines, building wind turbines in my area, which is cool. But he was a member of that crew. He's out of the hotel now, and there's another member of their crew in our hotel who is also positive. So
oh yay!
I'm wearing
You
a
gotta
huge
remain
happy hat.
upbeat.
Well, and here's the other thing too, and my chronology here is somewhat inaccurate probably, but I would say roughly 3 or so weeks ago, my county was up to, according to the Iowa website, we're up to 43 confirmed cases and 1 death. A couple weeks later, we were up to 195. And I don't know, I think still 1 death. We are currently, or last I checked the other day, we're at 388 confirmed cases, 11 deaths, just in my county. So in 3 weeks, it's just exploded.
Yeah. Oh my word.
And conveniently, shortly after, the Iowa governor pretty much turned off almost all of the restrictions.
Oh great.
Well,
So what?
here in San Diego, we're apparently up to 478 deaths out of 23,745 confirmed cases.
Yeah. So
I don't know.
yeah, I'm pretty much dead meat.
Like San Diego has a couple million people in it, so that's not a bad ratio.
I was gonna say I didn't know how the language would come out. Those don't sound like bad numbers in San Diego. But then again, what is a good number? You know, I don't know.
Well, let's put it this way: it's good for me, and who else matters?
Okay then.
Well, no, I mean, even if I'm not being flippant like that, it's just like it does things for my confidence, you know. Like as long as I take precautions, as long as everyone keeps taking precautions the way they have been, everything should be fine. At least for me and the people about whom I give a shit.
Okay then.
I mean, you know, it's difficult to put it in other terms because I'm glad that like anyone who's taking precautions survives and all, but it's hard to be too terribly well what's the term I'm looking for here?
Vigilant?
No. It's just they're at such a remove those other people that it's hard to really just say and I care about them too. Like I do, but on sort of a passive level. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, as if like they're in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's difficult to get worked up about other people. Even as I give a shit whether or not they live or die, it's difficult to be passionate about it. That's what I'm looking for. It's hard to be passionate about it.
Okay,
My whole thing is I'm worried about my mom. I'm double worried about my grandma.
I lost the last of my grandparents to COVID.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's got to absolutely fucking suck.
Not
Um,
really. See, the thing is, she was 98 already, and we really hadn't been in communication with that side of the family for very long, or in a long time. I mean, it's just, I know some people have said, wow, that just sounds scummy, but I'm like, I wasn't emotionally attached.
okay, okay. Um, Kind of reminds me a little bit of, yeah, when my sister died. I mean, I was not all that emotionally attached to her either. I mean, we were polar opposites. We didn't hate each other, but we weren't the closest of siblings anyway. So I can kind of get where you're coming from.
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, whatevs. It is what it is.
The Prajna.
Like, my life really hasn't changed as a result. And so, again, it's hard to get worked up.
In the meantime, I'm in a state where we're rapidly approaching 1,000 cases. Or
Oh, you're
I'm
in
in a
state,
county
all
where I'm
right.
rapidly approaching 1,000 cases. Florida already has 300,000 and is already rapidly increasing every single day. We had 12,000 cases just in the last yesterday.
Yeah, I
Just
was
in the
going to
last
say
yesterday.
you're well over. You're into the tens of thousands daily now. Yeah.
Considering Florida is now the new COVID epicenter of the world,
Well, if
Yeah, it's hard
Florida.
to imagine like going out in anything other than a full body condom.
Mm-hmm. I
at
mean,
this point, that's what I'm considering. Just going out there in what basically amounts to a hazmat suit.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, do I have it correct that we're Florida, a sovereign nation unto itself? It would be number 4 in COVID cases throughout the world, or am I way off base on that one?
I'm not sure.
I thought you just said, just got done saying that it's the epicenter for the entire world, which
Well,
is
I'm not
it?
sure where where it falls in the totals, but they're saying it's now basically the epicenter. We're like basically the hugest increases out of all the areas, even in the total of the United States, is like right there in Florida. I mean, we're seeing 65,000 cases in the United States alone, and of those, at least 1/6 are in Florida.
Well, maybe it's just me, but I think that means you shouldn't live in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
I'd much rather I live in Missouri, which is far more rural.
Yeah, there are
Rural.
some advantages to rural life. It's a little more difficult to spread communicable diseases when your nearest neighbor is like 3 miles away. But
By the same token, you have to deal with people who are a bit provincial, shall we say.
yeah, that is the case indeed. Oh my.
I mean, there's ups and downs.
I mean, which would I rather have? Provincial people or being in a rural area where basically the nearest person is 3 kilometers away from me, and therefore I don't have to really worry about social distancing whenever I go on a fucking walk.
Honestly, I would take the city just because, like, let's face it, the provincial people are probably the ones who are most likely to decide that I need to be killed.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, let's face it, a multiracial left-handed lesbian atheist, they might not take that well.
Especially the
then
left-handed
again,
part.
I wouldn't consider you most multiracial. I just consider you human.
Yeah, except that I'm extraordinarily multiracial, and given that my skin is naturally olive, and if I go out and deliberately tan, I get super, super dark, they'll get cranky at me.
Well, then again, you're basically human.
Yeah, but they're not
all
going
you
to.
do is
See,
Asian
the
and
problem
have
is
sex.
they aren't going to make that distinction. You see, they have to be the ones to make that distinction, and they're unlikely to go, "Oh yeah, you're just human."
Oh my, the way you're talking about going out and deliberately tanning and that sort of. You sound like my ex-wife in that respect.
Oh,
When she would deliberately get a tan, you could, if you didn't look carefully, mistake her for being black.
mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah. After a
so
week and a half in Cuba, oh my gosh, did I get dark.
You know, this whole thing with COVID would have been a lot better if we had a different president.
a
Eh,
lot of things
would
would have
it
been a
though?
lot better had we had a different president, but that's beside the
I don't know.
point.
It depends on which president, though. I mean, because there are a lot of presidents I would not trust with this either.
Oh yeah,
Would you
yeah.
trust John F. Kennedy with this?
I wasn't thinking of him. Honestly, I was thinking of Reagan. And Bush, for that matter. Shrubia would have done a horrible job with this shit.
Well, I mean, Reagan already had a track record, with the whole AIDS thing. Just think of how he would have fucked up COVID. Well, I don't know,
Uh-huh.
Woody, because COVID wasn't necessarily incubating, if you want to call it that, in the gay community. I have a
Uh,
feeling that a lot of the problem with AIDS was that it was originally grid, and who cares if the fags die? What can I tell you?
yeah.
And watch us
Well,
get shut off when I just said that word there. But you know,
well, I mean, he I don't know. He might have stepped up in ways Trump didn't because wasn't as invested in his own personal image.
yeah, there
But then
is
again, he
that.
might not have.
Yeah, it's difficult to tell. I
I
don't
guarantee John F. Kennedy would have been all over COVID like white on rice.
I don't know.
Maybe. But
Maybe.
even if he had been, I don't think that's important because we're talking about presidents who would have fucked it up.
Yeah. I mean, Kennedy damn near got us killed anyway. So what can I tell you? Um, and
Is there any president that hasn't?
I'll
hmm,
say Jimmy Carter
he
probably.
was gonna be my first name. Yeah.
But then again, he too was like inept, right?
Oh yeah, but not so much inept as uninspiring, but even so, the point was that he probably would not have gotten us killed.
Yeah. The thing about the presidency is that you don't learn that on the job, which was basically what Carter did. He learned how to be president on the job and didn't work out too well. I mean, there were some good things that happened. The peace accord.
Franklin Roosevelt?
Hmm.
Would Franklin
Hmm.
have done a good job?
Uh, it's not really all that important which presidents would have done a good job. The question is who would have come closer to killing us, is the question.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of the top 10 in that respect. I know, like Cuban Missile Crisis, Kennedy. Damn, we came
Yeah.
close. Trying to think of who else really, really, really brought us up to the wire. Um,
Truman?
Now he actually pulled us back because MacArthur wanted to nuke North Korea, and basically Truman said, "You're a fucking idiot," and fired him. Well, not over that, but over a couple other things, and basically he ended up going bye bye.
Yeah,
Uh,
MacArthur sounded
um,
like a
I
real
mean,
lunatic.
like, there is something weirdly entertaining about the Cuban Missile Crisis era of the Cold War. Like, one of my favorite movies takes place on Key West during the Cuban Missile Crisis. where John Goodman opens a movie about a radioactive ant that terrorizes a city, like on Key West.
Okay, then.
But there's this whole genre of science fiction called atom punk, which basically is characterized by being set around about that era, around about early to mid 60s kind of thing. It's like what you would get before a post-apocalypse genre story is
Okay,
the
then.
whole like the build up. I mean, that's the thing about all the different punk genres, like cyberpunk and steampunk and diesel punk and atom punk and why am I totally blanking on the other one?
Gothic punk.
No, I'm thinking about the sci-fi one, and or the like the space opera one. Ray punk, that's the one.
Ah.
Ray punk, and like they're all stylized versions. Like very few of them take place during actual history. It's more like here's the trappings of this time in history, and let's expand on it in ways that never actually existed for realsies.
Oh, Harmonica Man has got a really, really good question. He asks, what about the radioactive uncles? You never hear about them.
Oh, I see what he's saying. Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
It took me a second because in my world, it's pronounced aunt and not aunt.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it took me a bit.
Yeah, everybody.
Is there really a correct way to pronounce it?
Yes.
Yeah, the way I do. Well.
And there's also a correct way to pronounce the name of element number 53, but that's beside the point.
Yeah, there is a way, and you were wrong.
Are we talking about
Well,
aluminium?
I'm sorry, we actually proved it. We looked it up, and multiple sources said you were wrong.
Are we talking about aluminium?
No. Aluminium is element 13. No, element 53 is iodine.
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 It's not pronounced iodine. It really, really isn't.
Yeah, you've got.
Don't be all creationist on us. Bow to the evidence.
Well, you've got iodine and chlorine and astatine and fluorine and genuine. Don't forget that.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Yeah, you can give us other examples all you like. It's not going to help.
I think in chemistry class I would pronounce it iodine, and then when I'm shopping for salt, I would pronounce it iodine.
Well, it's definitely pronounced iodine. We proved this. It says it in like every dictionary. And I don't believe there was even one example that claimed it was iodine. Not one.
Oh,
I got one I'd love to ask you about, Kate.
Yo.
Is it pronounced flatus or flatus?
I don't even know what the hell you're talking about. Is that one of those flatworm deals?
Flatulence.
Oh. It's pronounced flatulence.
No, he's talking about the flatus.
I could not tell you.
Or is it pronounced flatus?
I could not tell you, but if I saw it and I had context, I would have said flatus because of flatulence.
Right, but it's only spelt with one T. And I have checked multiple sources and they all pronounce it flatus.
Oh.
Well,
And Nerdy asks a question which has been answered many times, but go ahead, Kate, answer it again. Is there a correct way to pronounce the acronym for graphics interchange format?
Yes, it's GIF. It really is. See, the thing is, the creator of the format said so and explained the reasoning behind it. So, people who insist, no, it's GIF, have no idea what they're talking about. Especially since, okay, in the military, they have judge advocate generals, and the abbreviation for that is JAG or JAG. Like general is not general, and yet it's JAG, right? So acronyms have like the word that a letter represents in an acronym doesn't matter. Like that does not determine the pronunciation.
Can I pronounce it Yog?
No, suppose you could if you're like Swedish. I don't know.
Yog, you betcha.
No, that's
Well,
Minnesota.
Well, no, some people think I'm Swedish.
Minnesota. They do that in Seattle as well. Seattle has a very large Scandinavian population.
Okay, then.
Yeah, the Yasher You Betcha comes out to play. I mean, not very often. Usually people are making fun of it rather than actually saying it. You kind of have to go outside Seattle to actually hear people say it, but they do.
How the heck
Oh, sure, you betcha.
did Scandinavian folks end up in Seattle?
Why not?
I don't know. It seems, like trekking all the way across the country. Um, is there something that would have uh, attracted them in that direction rather than just staying east?
Well, why did anyone ever go west?
Gold.
Well, maybe that's why.
Hmm. Okay, possible.
Gold, silver, peppermint.
I still don't get why people love gold so much. Like, I remember reading a sci-fi story where one of the main characters was not from the planet where, like, her husband was from. And watching them just salivating over gold, she's like, I don't get it. What's the appeal? It's great because it doesn't conduct electricity, and so we use it in a lot of components in our spaceships, but these people seem to be treating it as some sort of almost fetish. And like, it's true. When we
Hmm.
base currency off of things like gold, why? What, like, okay, it's pretty, but why do, like, pirates, for example, have such a hard on for gold? I don't get it.
Well, there's
And leprechauns.
several.
Them
There's
too.
several stated reasons. One, it's basically stable. It doesn't corrode, really. Two, it's rare, but not too rare that it's not able to be found. And three, it's easily shaped into coins.
Okay, but I don't know. Is that really just the single basis for its appeal? That doesn't sound right.
Well, honestly, at the time that gold was in use as a basis of currency or medium of exchange, or however you want to put that, if I remember correctly, it was not an industrial metal. So that would be one point in its favor for being a medium of exchange. I doubt that gold could become a medium of exchange now because it is an industrial metal now.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I've listened to industrial and I've listened to metal. They're not my favorite musical styles, but still.
Now, of course, there's the other issue regarding gold in that it's probably a plenty outside of Earth's area. Like, you could probably find it in various asteroids and whatnot.
Well, goodness knows, like there's this one video game series called Star Control that I really enjoy, and you would occasionally run across a gold planet that was basically nothing but gold, and you like could pick it all up for resources, of course, and yeah, but gold planets were interesting.
Gold planets, the easiest way to crash the economy since the giant diamond of a star.
I was just thinking that. Because the more gold you have, the less valuable it is.
There you go.
Oh, that depends. I mean, if you have a shit ton of gold and you're hoarding it such that nobody else has any, mean, that's an analogy that's actually been brought recently about like the billionaires here in the US, is that they're like dragons sitting on top of their hoard of gold in a cave. Like,
Smog.
nobody else can have any, and we are going to be vicious about guarding our treasure, kind of thing. And it's like, that's not a bad analogy.
Well, I guess that is a reason that the price of diamonds is as high as it is. It's artificial, where you've got,
Hmm.
especially De Beers, doing the diamond hoarding. Um, I don't know if it's so
They're a
much.
vile company.
Yes, absolutely. Not nice people. But yeah,
Yeah, them and Walmart.
yeah.
Now, can we make diamonds, or do we have to find them? Like, do we have machines that'll apply a shit ton of pressure
Hmm.
and turn something
Enough
into a diamond?
pressure and heat. I don't know.
I
Because I seem to remember hearing about some wacky service where, like, you can have a dead loved one cremated and then crushed enough to turn him into a diamond.
I know that it is possible to make diamonds. It has been done a very long time. What I don't remember is whether gem quality diamonds can be artificially produced.
Well,
Um,
it should
Okay.
be simple. All you do is you take a bunch of All you do is you take a bunch of wood, you turn it into charcoal, basically pure carbon. Then you grind it up into powder and you squish it together as tight and heat it up as much as you can to make it into a freaking diamond. At least that's how I imagine it would be done.
It just takes a hell of a lot of pressure and heat.
yeah, and that whole thing, the pressure and heat application, excuse me, is basically what was the thing about the original artificial diamonds being black. Um, okay. From the font of all knowledge, gem quality diamonds grown in a lab can be chemically, physically, and optically identical to naturally occurring ones. The mined diamond industry has undertaken legal, marketing, and distribution countermeasures to protect its market from the emerging presence of synthetic diamonds. I wonder how long that's been the case then.
Well, then again, you could also produce diamonds by way of large explosion, like the Mythbusters did.
Huh?
Then again, the Mythbusters produced a piece of industrial grit that was about worth a quarter. Not $250,000, just 25 cents.
Okay,
So
what do we
there was this one episode of The Big Bang Theory where Leonard and a bunch of the others, but this is about Leonard, had been at the North Pole. And what he did for Penny, his girlfriend, was get a snowflake from the North Pole and have it like squished into this block of transparent plastic or something, so that it would be preserved forever. And he gave it to her. And I wonder, like, if that's really a thing. If you can put something unique in a block of translucent plastic or whatever it was.
I don't know. I'm guessing that many things probably you could do that sort of thing. I'm thinking, how would you do that with a snowflake? It's rather kind of delicate, isn't it?
Well, most snowflakes seem to be.
Yeah, or at least susceptible to melting. It's something else
Oh,
again.
yeah, that's not what I meant.
Well, that too. Yeah, and
I'm not gonna make that joke. I'm not gonna make that joke.
Good. So yeah,
Yay.
I mean, one thing I would absolutely adore is if someone would take something to space and then like preserve it and give it to me. Like, okay, apparently there was like a relative or a friend who had a friend who was a friend who was an astronaut or something, and they were like, Kate, I know how you like space. We'll get you some patches or something. And I was like, well, you know, yay, but unless they've actually been to space, I'm not super pumped. And like, I kept asking when they handed me the patches, I was like, have these been taken up into space? And they would not give me a straight answer. And I hate it when people do that, where I'm like, okay, so this is a thing, right? You're going to confirm it that this is what I was talking about, right? And they give all these evasions and stuff, and I'm like, why can't you just give a straight answer? Do you think I won't like it? Do you not understand the question? What the hell's going on here?
Okay.
You know,
Basic. If I were to
just so
actually be able to
deeply,
go up into
deeply frustrating when people won't just come right out and say shit, even when they're directly asked.
Well, that
Kate, let's
sounds
put
to
it
me.
this way. If I were able to go into space, get some patches on an actual spacesuit, and then come down again with those patches on my spacesuit, I'd basically take them off and hand them to you and say, yes, these were in
Well,
space.
thank you. Although, honestly, they don't even have to have been on a uniform. They just have to have actually been up there. That's all.
Hmm. Well, the impression I get, when you were going through that thing with the patches, it sounds to me like they were afraid to answer because they'd have to answer no and they'd think you didn't like them.
Well,
Um,
I wouldn't have. I mean, why avoid it? Especially like keeping me in the dark about something that's obviously kind of important is, well, obnoxious.
mm,
Or I'm pressing people on things, like I'm trying to hold their feet to the fire. Is this what I'm talking about, or isn't it? Well, this, that, and the other thing, off topic, this, that, and the other. I'm like, but just answer the fucking question. It's so frustrating where people dance around the information I'm after and just won't disgorge it.
They just want to do the twist, like we did last summer.
Sure.
oh my.
I'm sorry, it was right there.
It really wasn't. I don't even know where that came from.
Oh, wow. You really need to brush up on your chubby checker.
No, I know the song. What I mean is I don't understand why you thought it was a reference. Like where your inspiration for making the reference came from. It seemed quite the non sequitur to me.
And yeah, Boomer, I am in total agreement. Air and Space in DC. I'd say it's worth more than a visit. I'd do a repeat performance, go there multiple times. It's kind of difficult to take it all in just in one visit, and well, I love the place anyway. So
In San Jose once.
Well, the one in San Diego is pretty good too. I had a good time when I went there with my dad. I
someday,
don't know how extensive it is compared to the one in DC, but it was pretty good.
someday, I'll manage to get to that one, the one in San Diego. Now, Mike Collins was in on setting up Air and Space in DC. And if there's anybody you want to, anyone whose help you want for something like that, it would be Mike. But,
I did what?
Every time someone says his name, like seriously, every time someone mentions Michael Collins, I have to remind myself that it's not Stephen Collins. Like, because he's the first person I picture when someone says Collins, and yeah.
I think Phil.
Oh, you have a point there. Okay, if it's Phil Collins, I know who they mean. If it's any other Collins, I default to that other dude, and I wish I didn't. So yeah. Oh, Columbia, my God, you're gonna lick my Krellbow raw.
I don't know, kiddiness.
She's like, I mean, she's been working that one spot on my arm for 2 days. And like, if I don't develop a callus, it's gonna start bleeding. Your tongue is like sandpaper, kitty.
Now the
That's funny.
The last time I was in D.C. was 2001, so it's been a little while. I may have to. I may have to go back eventually.
Preferably after the COVID situation is calmed
Okay.
down.
I'm not going anywhere until the COVID situation's over. Okay.
By the
So,
way, I'm
okay,
thinking
you
of
would go to
taking on here soon.
DC, but would you go to Marvel?
Yeah. Come to think of it, that might not be a bad, thing to do.
Is there a town called Marvel?
Probably not, but that was not the basis for the joke.
No, I got the joke that
Oh, I know you did.
yeah, that our bombardier did not get.
Well,
Well,
no, I got the joke. I got the joke. I'm just wondering if there's actually a town called Marvel.
Probably. Well, maybe. I don't know if there's one in the United States.
Well, I know there's a town called Rectum.
Yeah, well, there's a bunch of weird ass named towns.
There's also a town named Hell.
several.
So, looking up a town called Marvel, all I'm getting is stuff about Marvel Comics.
Yeah, so you looked that up as well. Okay.
Let me try city instead of town. Not that that will do any better, I'm sure. Whoa, no, that's Marvel Comics again. Yeah, it's the same old, same old. If there's a city or town called Marvel, I don't see it. Well, actually, I know another way to go about this. Maps.google.com. This way it'll be a little more specific.
Ah,
Marvel. I'm seeing a lot of Marvel, but not a city called Marvel.
Damn.
Let's see. So, no,
They really got the short end of the stick.
I'm not sure that they were even considered in the first place.
So, Tornado, it's your job to go establish a new town and name it Marvel.
there you are.
Now,
Yeah, it's like, what should I say? Republicans not allowed?
I don't know if that's really the way you want to go with this one.
Yeah,
Probably
no. Because there are Republicans who are actually smart. You've got a whole bunch of them here in Florida who've basically said, we're not voting for Trump.
Actually, I have to say the idea of a smart Republican terrifies me.
Yes, it does. I mean, smart is one thing, principled is another. And if somebody's going to be smart, I would much rather they be principled than otherwise.
Anyway, I'm gonna let you guys go because I'm actually getting tired over here. So, happy birthday, Diana.
Danke
Virtual
schön.
birthday cake.
Danke schön. Well, I will actually make my strawberry shortcake later, but and then I will, and then I will.
Maybe it's just because I'm an 80s kid, but someone says strawberry shortcake, and I probably don't picture what anyone else does or what everyone else does.
I know what you're picturing.
The character.
I
from
picture the
Strawberry
same.
Shortcake TV show.
Although I did actually encounter a strain of weed called strawberry shortcake recently.
Okay.
That's where I'm leaving. See you guys.
Take care.
Good to almost talk to you, Tornado Pelt. I did a little, but
Oh my.
Oh, my goodness, that really hurts, kitten. Like she's not even licking my arm anymore right now, and it burns.
Now, Nerdy has said that there is a Marvel in Colorado and a couple of others as well.
I'm trying to remember. I think it was the comic book Normal Man, where the Legion of Superfluous Heroes was on the planet Levram. Yeah, well, you know.
Danke, Boomer. Danke, danke. I don't know. I'm not sure that I want to live to be 900 years old or anything like that, but what can I
Well,
tell
you know, if aging wasn't a thing, I would totally do it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that might change my opinion a little bit.
I mean, every time I watch someone in like a movie, TV show, or read about them in a book where they get a bunch of wishes and they say they want to live forever and they don't specify that their age remains static. I mean, imagine
Mm-hmm.
being 300 years old and in complete cellular degradation, like your telomeres are completely gone. I mean, how much would that suck? Am I right?
Truly, absolutely. That
So be
would.
careful what you wish for, I think is the moral of this story.
Yeah, you see, so many people who are celebrated for living to 110 or whatever it is, and you wonder, did they really want to live that long? I mean, is the quality of life that good?
Well, you'll have to ask them, I guess.
Because I mean, some of them look like they're not in that great shape.
Yeah, I don't know. I need to look up a picture of Stephen Hawking before he was in the chair.
Hmm.
Because honestly, it's hard to picture what he might have looked like when he didn't have his teeth sticking out and he didn't look like a blob.
Yeah, there are the pictures out there. Um,
Oh, I'm sure. Oh, well, he looks like a complete Poindexter.
yeah.
Yeah, I could see him in Revenge of the Nerds.
Have you seen that documentary on him?
Who, what, where, when?
No.
Uh, it was I don't know how long ago it was made. A few years ago now. I'm pretty sure it was before he died. Um,
I would hope
but
so.
it's a really good one.
Okay, then. Gonna have to look for that and see what we can
I
find.
don't know what else to really tell you about it. I mean, it's a documentary on his life. They show a bunch of pictures of him from when he was like a kid and through college and all kinds of shit. So
My
it's like
understanding,
his whole life story.
my understanding is that he wasn't necessarily the nicest character on Earth, but
Hmm.
No, and he did leave his wife for the nurse that took care of him.
yeah.
I mean, there's that. So there, I mean, like he had an affair with her and shit. I think so. Hey, he was a human being like everyone else.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Is
Albert.
he though? I mean, is everyone else a human being? I thought they were
I
lizard people.
I do wonder.
You know, Albert
I
Einstein was
myself
not
am
that.
o- I myself am only half human on my mother's side.
Hmm.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah.
I don't want
Oh,
to claim my dad as human.
Oh, I thought you were making a Spock reference.
well, so
Actually,
did
it's an
I.
obscure reference to the Doctor Who that was done. It was a movie played on Fox. I
Oh,
don't
dear
recall
God.
if it was even done with by the same like company that does all the other Doctor Who past and present.
Was this the one
Um,
with Eric Roberts as the master?
yes, yes,
Oh, that was such a bad movie.
I
Or
liked it though.
really?
Yeah.
Really?
I don't know. I like it for some reason. Well, there was a lot of interesting things that happened. I mean, they started operating on him, but when he was dying in the previous form and starting to regenerate. So he like regenerated with like a tube in his heart that he had to pull out of his chest. That was kind of cool. And of
Oh,
course there was also the line I just used, and that was the only instance in any of the Doctor Who's new and old that there was any reference about his parents.
hmm.
Okay, then. Yay. Yay.
I
Well,
I liked it. I don't know. It's not super awesome, but I found some things interesting, and I kind of dig Eric Roberts. So
Did you ever see Curse of Fatal Death?
I don't think so.
Oh, it's this absolutely brilliant thing with Rowan Atkinson playing the Doctor. And I mean,
Uh,
it's played for comedy, and it's done so well. I mean, you could almost believe that you were rewatching the Tom Baker era of Doctor Who.
wasn't a bunch of other like well-known English actors in there? Who's that one
Hugh
guy I'm
Grant.
thinking of?
Hugh
Yeah, Hugh
Grant.
Grant. Yes, I
And
did see that.
yeah,
Yeah, it is good. That is really good.
absolutely hilarious. I loved the crap out of it.
You know, yeah, and Tom Baker is my doctor too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Tom Baker is like the only Doctor as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
Yeah, he was doctor when I started watching it, so
Yep.
Okay.
I
I
loves
have
me
to
my
say,
Tom Baker.
I stopped watching after Sylvester McCoy. I could not stand him.
I started watching at about Pertwee. And in my personal opinion, which doesn't mean shit really, but Eccleston wasn't all that bad.
I kind of like Pertwee. I kind of like John Pertwee. I didn't know about him for a long time. I mean, it was all Tom Baker for me for a long time until I managed to see some of the older ones. I was like, oh, there's other doctors, and I saw a lot of Pertwee, and I like him. He's no Tom Baker, but you know.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Yeah.
I think even in the modern era, Baker has the longest run, right?
I think you're
I don't
right.
know. Probably. He was for a very long time, so
So he must have had some appeal.
yeah.
Hmm. Oh, whoops.
He was also the only good thing about the Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Oh, that movie was so bad.
Yep.
Yeah, I wanted to like it and so didn't.
Yeah.
It was kind of like oh, what was the one I watched? Did I watch Aragon? I can't remember. But that one was pretty bad too.
Yeah. I kind of liked Aragon. It was all right. I never read the books. I just knew I knew people who did read the books, and they were just flipping out about how pretty much wiped their ass with each page. But I never read the books, so there's really nothing like ruined in that sense for me. But it was all right. I mean, it's a good special effects eyegasm, I guess. It's about as valuable as it is.
Yeah, I mean, I am told that the books are pretty amazing, but
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you. I don't know. And of course, like when they make a movie out of a book, I'm always prepared to be disappointed.
Yeah, they never seem to really make them just like the book.
Yep. Although I can see why they didn't in some things. Like, I mean, I'm sorry, but there's no way you could make Ready Player One into a movie and exactly follow the book and have it be entertaining. Not possible.
Mm.
Well, because I mean, in the book, dude spends like multiple hours playing what is it, joust? I want to say, and it's like you can't do that. It doesn't make for a good movie.
Yeah, and a movie audience is very different from a book audience,
Hmm.
and I've always thought that explained pretty well why they differ from the book so much.
Well, I mean,
Usually.
my policy these days is to watch the movie before reading the book, or if I've already read the book, don't reread it in prep for the movie, because that's just setting myself up for disappointment.
You know,
Because like when Ready Player One came out, I loved the book, but hadn't read it for like 5, 10 years or something. And so when the movie came out, I didn't read the book and watched the movie and loved it. I thought that was an amazing movie. But a lot of people were flipping out because it wasn't exactly like the book. And I went back and reread the book and was like, yeah, it totally isn't exactly like the book, but I'm really, really, really okay with that. Because I
Yeah.
reread the book and now I'm like, I love the book and I love the movie. How awesome is that?
Yay! Win-win.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
suppose it just depends. It just depends on who makes the movie and what exactly they do. I think
Well,
I think there's the potential of making a better movie than the book version. Just the potential of, but it just depends.
I could list on the fingers of maybe one hand the bad movies that Spielberg has made. Like counting the ones I've seen, there are a number of movies he's made where I'm just like, this is not the genre I would watch anyway. But there are a number of times where he's made we could have done without that Indiana Jones movie with Shia LaBeouf. We could have done without that. But like, bad movies made by Spielberg. Oh, War of the Worlds. The War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise was awful.
Mhm. I don't remember that much. I think I watched it once or twice, and it must not have been very impressive because
I really wish that Spielberg could get over his daddy issues.
although now that you
Okay.
mention War of the Worlds, and this is totally steering things in a different direction, but I've been curious. You're a sci-fi fan. Have you
Yes.
ever heard of? It's mostly an album, like a collaboration album, but there is a video that goes with it. It's from like 1980. It's called Jeff Wayne's War of the Worlds. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
Yeah, I highly recommend checking it out. You'll be able to find the entire. It's like originally like a 2 CD set, but you'll find the whole thing on YouTube. It's no big thing.
What is it?
Jeff Wayne's, that's like Wayne Wayne, War of the Worlds. It has the lead singer from the Moody Blues as well as the lead singer
Okay,
from Thin Lizzy in it, and
But
it's
what is
narrated
it?
by Richard Burton.
But what is it?
It's mostly just like a collab music album, and it's they tell the story of War of the Worlds, but there's just a lot of music in it too.
Okay.
And
Sounds bizarre.
I don't know if it's really the sort of music you're into, but I would recommend it to any sci-fi fan.
I don't know. Defining my taste in music is next to impossible.
Hmm.
So, believe me, I've
Right.
tried, and no one gets it.
Right, and this is rather unlike most music. It's a little bit almost orchestral, but it just has a lot of different stuff. And it was like 1980, so it's sort of the tail end of the disco era.
Okay.
So
Oh.
if you really hate disco, I'm sorry, it is a tad bit, not much really, a tad bit disco-y in parts.
I
Not
hate disco
much.
with the white hot fury of 1,000 suns.
Yeah. But it's not enough to me to bother me about it. It's not, it's not freaking Bee Gees or anything.
Right. Well, even so, I just disco's a deal breaker.
Yeah, I traditionally despise disco myself, but I don't mind it in this War of the Worlds thing though. I don't mind it at all. It's so little bit. It's so you barely notice any of it in there. So it's got a lot of cool stuff in it. You might not like it, but like I say, I recommend it to any sci-fi fan because it's just a wonderful listen to for sci-fi fans, I think.
There was one thing that I wanted to see but didn't get a chance to because it was like really far away where it was happening. But someone actually made a musical out of The Last Starfighter. Now, I'm not into
Really?
musicals, but I adore The Last Starfighter, so I'd at least give
As
it a
do I.
shot.
I would totally check it out.
Yeah.
I'm not big into musicals myself, but I do have a couple, or I have 3 of them that for sure that I like, and that would be Rocky Horror Picture Show, Hair, and Jesus Christ Superstar.
Okay.
I probably only like the Jesus one because it's a bunch of hippies. So.
I've never seen it, and I usually mix it up with Godspell.
Fun
Yeah,
fact, I actually at one time had the soundtrack to Hair in German.
Groovy.
Why?
I won it as a prize in a particular competition, and it was I loved the whole thing. I may have
That's
spoken.
interesting.
And this competition was what exactly?
Okay.
It was a belching contest, wasn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. Now they were called declamation contests. Where they get that name, I don't know. But when I was in high school, for each of the languages that was offered in the high school curriculum, you had one of these competitions, and it was poetry reading. You had a required poem, and you had an optional poem, and you had to memorize them, and do a little interpretive recitation. You were judged on the interpretation and your skill in the language. Now, what was really interesting here, you also had divisions for native speakers and non-native speakers. And in the first contest in which I competed, yeah, you do compete in a contest. It happened that my German teacher knew the judge that was assigned to me, or however it was. So I did my delivery and the whole bit, and when that was over, the judge came over to my teacher and said, "Hey, Neil, what's this guy doing in the non-native speaker division? He's a native speaker." And my teacher looked, smiled and said, "No, he's not."
Yeah,
but I guess I was that good at it,
There was once I won a contest almost accidentally. I was at the old Wizards of the Coast Game Center, and a dude was like debuting his new card game, which was weirdly, it was like a cross between Lord of the Rings and tarot. Like, it was a tarot deck, and you could do tarot readings with it, but it was also a game.
Okay, then.
And I played the demo, and he said, well, whoever wins the game gets a limited edition gold border Lord of the Rings tarot deck, and I won it. And I thought I was just going to be there to hang out, maybe play a few games with some people, and ended up winning the contest.
Yay!
Yeah.
It's amazing how those things go. Excuse me. I actually won a couple tickets to a hockey game at a little thing. It was set up at a beer store that my ex and I used to go to, and they had a putting green sort of thing, like you do the putt thing.
Mm-hmm.
And she saw that and said, you like that sort of thing. Why don't you give it a try? And it's okay, fine. Not expecting to do anything, but I sank the first shot. We're sitting with 2 penguin tickets. I could not believe my luck on that one. Neither could the guy who was running the contest, but that was beside the point. I think he was thinking, "Oh shit, somebody actually won."
Hmm. Yeah. I remember when I went up to La Ronde in Montreal, and like it's this big old like it's not exactly a theme park, more like a carnival kind of thing, but also a water slide park.
Okay.
And if you ever won one of the contests at the carnival place, they wouldn't just give you the prize. They had to stand up, hold the prize up for everyone to see, and shout something like they shouted in French and then in English they shout "Big winner!" And I was like, "Did you have to make a fuss?"
Mm.
I mean, seriously, you had to make a fuss.
Yeah, I guess they did. That's how you get other suckers to come and play the game, right?
I guess, but I was just like, I just wanted the little stuffed animal. Leave me alone. I'm not here to entertain you.
Ah, but we'll have a real good time. Yes, sir. No, huh?
Uh, was that supposed to be a reference to some?
Oh, that was that song "Let Me Entertain You" that was part of um, the motion picture Gypsy.
I yeah,
Seen that.
like I've ever seen that.
Oh my! I know Rosalind Russell played Mama, and I'm trying to remember. Was it Natalie Wood that played Gypsy Rose Lee?
You remember the part where I'd never seen it, right?
Right. No, I did. Doc said he saw it.
Oh,
No, I said I have not seen it.
Oh, you have not seen. I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
I was not. Yeah, I was not very. I don't know. Whatever. Assertive.
I misunderstood you. Yes.
I'm difficult to understand.
Ah.
Trust me, I'm here and I still don't understand.
Yeah. There we go. Yep. Natalie Wood played Gypsy Rose Lee. Rosalind Russell played her mother. Oh, what can I tell you? I could tell you a lot of things, but probably none of them are worth telling.
yeah, that is a separate issue, isn't it?
Yes. Oh my, what do we got going over here? Okay, so the counter is still going. That's a good sign. Yay! 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 I get worse.
You don't really want your counter going anywhere, do you? Oh, not that kind of counter. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, I had to throw in the obligatory bad joke of the day, right?
Right.
I already made the bad joke of the day. You made the second bad joke of the day.
Well, my first bad joke of the day.
There you go.
And there's a whole lot more, let me tell ya.
Myth beef. And why somebody is making some really disgusting stuff that they might be trying to call food, but it doesn't smell like anything I would want to eat. It's amazing the way aromas travel in this building.
Okay.
There's not a meth lab in there, is there?
No, not that I know of. Although sometimes I wonder. Now, I tell you, one of the people in this building wears some really obnoxious aftershave.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah, you know when you encounter those people who've like basically marinated themselves in cologne or perfume or
Oh,
whatever?
Uh-huh.
I mean, what the hell, people?
yeah, I hate that.
I don't get the point. I really don't.
Like you walk into wherever the hell they are, and it's just this horrific miasma.
Yes,
And
yes.
like, really, people, is
Oh
that
yeah.
the way you're gonna go? Is this cloud of stench just surrounding you?
And I tell you, some of the females in this neighborhood, you can smell their perfume 3 blocks away.
Yep.
I mean, they use so much of it, and it's so cheap. God. Well, I don't know. I'm not a perfume person, so what can I tell you?
Yeah, I'm definitely not one of those either.
Oh my. But yeah, oh well.
Me either. I prefer my own bouquet.
Yeah, we smell like
And
apes.
the obligatory fart joke.
There you go. But I like the one episode of the systematic classification of life that R and Rod did. Where is it? Yeah, it turns out that what is it, chimpanzees, gorillas, and humans have exactly the same stink glands.
Okay.
Yep.
I guess that makes a certain kind of sense.
Mm. But,
And hopefully they don't use theirs to call a mate.
okay.
Hey, what if you fart and the gorilla finds you attractive?
Oh, there was the. I think it's on a YouTube film somewhere. Um, Coco the gorilla
Hmm.
Sure.
was a friend
This is
of.
the one that gets sign, right?
Yes, was a
Yeah.
friend of Robin Williams, and I guess at one
Ah,
point
yes.
Williams was visiting, and Coco made a motion, and the handler said, "Yeah, Robin, she wants you to go back there, but I don't guarantee your safety if you do."
It's funny, I've been rewatching Star Trek The Next Generation recently, and I can't help but notice how so many alien species are like biologically compatible enough with humans to interbreed. And I know they tried to explain that away at some point in one of the
Mm.
episodes, but still, like sometimes I have to wonder how much closer to humans would another species have to be able to interbreed?
Okay, I'm going to take a wild guess here and say probably as close as chimpanzees are to humans.
At least.
Yeah, I mean,
Wouldn't they have to be closer? I mean, I don't think humans and
Yeah.
chimps can interbreed.
I
Not
But I
that
don't
I'm
know.
seem to
aware
remember
of.
there was something about like Cro-Magnon and Neanderthal or something like that used to interbreed
We,
for a while.
Oh, yeah, that
we,
definitely. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we have Neanderthal DNA, especially Europeans.
Yeah, Southern Europeans definitely. Um, so if you're Greek or Turkish or a few other places in that neighborhood, yeah, you've probably got a good smattering of Neanderthal.
Is it that Africans have none or just like very little compared to Europeans? I forget.
So do I. I think it's many much less at the very least, yeah, because now
Yeah.
Neanderthals originated in Europe.
It's like Europeans are close to 2% and Africans are at least less than 1% if they have any at all. It's kind of fascinating.
Yeah.
Oh,
What I'm curious about, I mean, because we have Cro-Magnons, but no Raven Magnons.
Yep, that's another problem we have
This
there.
is true.
All right, now I'm looking at this, and I'm going to be reading this cold. Dateline January 30th of this year. The headline is Africans carry surprising amount of Neanderthal DNA. It's from Science.
Hmm. Okay.
And what do we have? For 10 years, geneticists have told the story of how Neanderthals, or at least their DNA sequences, live on in today's Europeans, Asians, and their descendants. Not so in Africans, the story goes, because modern humans and our extinct cousins interbred, excuse me, only outside of Africa. A new study overturns that notion, revealing an unexpectedly large amount of Neanderthal ancestry in modern populations across Africa. It suggests much of that DNA came from Europeans migrating back into Africa over the past 20,000 years. That's interesting. So there was a return to Africa. Okay.
Makes sense. There was a lot of time to do it.
Moo.
Talking about tens of thousands of years, aren't we?
Yeah, we're saying the Europeans migrating back was over the last 20,000 years. In other words, something over 3 times longer than the young Earthers think the universe existed.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll never understand. Like when you have people who believe that sort of crazy, wacky nonsense, I have to wonder, like say for example, flat earthers who say that there's something like some reason why they would cover up the age of the Earth. And I'm like, to what end? I mean, what do they get out of it? That's the part I've never understood. Is like, what do people get out of trying to claim that the Earth is a globe?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That if they didn't do it.
What would that accomplish?
I understand the flat earthers much less than I understand the creationists, the young earthers. I mean, at least they've got a holy book that they have to defend.
Yeah.
I don't know of. I suppose there are 1 or 2 flat earthers out there who may be looking at the book of Isaiah or something like that, but nothing like the whole Genesis crowd.
I don't know.
Well, the Bible does kind of say the earth is flat, doesn't it?
I don't know that it goes about and says it is flat, but it certainly uses language that implies that the earth is flat. Yeah. That it rests on pillars.
And those pillars are on top of an elephant, or on top of 4 elephants. The elephants are on top of a giant turtle.
Yeah, pretty much. And then from there, it's turtles all the way down.
Yep. I don't know. People have come up with such wacky things. And the weird part is they just seem like they're all a bunch of sticks in the mud. Where it's like, oh, this is the thing that people thought of 1,000 years ago, and so now we have to stick with it.
Well, yeah, the whole Genesis crowd and everything else like that, I totally understand that one. The pastors, the preachers, all that crowd derived their authority from that book of theirs. And if any part of that book is wrong, all of it might as well be, and there goes their authority. So no matter how insane, they have to come up with defenses. And I'm sure that much of these people absolutely know that the book is in error, because I hear some of the arguments they offer, and I'm thinking, how could they advance these arguments? How could they schedule them? How could they create them without knowing some degree of the actual science behind it, such that they can manipulate it and twist it and squeeze it and all this other bullshit? I mean, even Carl Baugh, with his whole Carl Baugh is one of these with the floodwaters were in layers between the mantle and the crust or something like this, if I remember correctly. Trying to think of who's made fun of him. Mortimer 81, I think, has made some fun of him.
I don't suppose this is one of those weird cases where, like, most people pronounce his name one way and you decide to go the other?
The only way I've heard it pronounced is Baugh, Baugh, if I remember correctly. Let's find out.
Well, I'm just making sure, because that's happened a lot of times, and you know it has.
Oh yeah. Oh, there we go. Yeah. He's in Texas. Explains a lot. And he's on the Trinity Broadcasting Network. Holy fucking shit, man. I'd probably have to go through claims. He's the one with the London Hammer, and let's see, I think the fossilized hat, maybe him.
The what?
An allegedly fossilized hat. It's
Okay.
actually a concretion.
It's a what now?
It's actually a concretion. It seems that the way the hat got the way it looked was water containing minerals perfused it.
Oh, gosh, I so totally misunderstood you. When you said accretion, I thought you were saying accretion. And I'm like, what the frick's accretion?
Oh,
I've
that's
never heard of accretions. Okay. Well, now you get my confusion, I'm sure.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, this is interesting. In his 1992 book, Panorama of Creation, Bach claims that a layer of metallic hydrogen surrounded the early Earth. What the fuck? Furthermore, he professes that hexagonal water, I have no idea, or creation water, as he calls it, is capable of healing. Oh, Lord. This guy's even nuttier than I remember.
Yeah, because doesn't it take very particular conditions for metallic hydrogen?
One of those conditions.
It's on Jupiter, but
yeah, one of those conditions, if I remember correctly, is extreme pressure.
yeah.
So how could it be on the outer surface of something? Let's think about that for a while.
And it's technically not like on Jupiter, but in its atmosphere, sort of. If you can call it having an atmosphere, it's a gas giant, so.
So the whole thing is atmosphere.
Pretty much.
Except
Except there's enough gravity that the core is hard, but that's just because of gravity.
Sorry, I lied. I had it wrong. The hydroplate theory is Walt Brown, where the water was between the crust and the mantle. But Carl Baugh is crazy too. This is interesting. From the Font of All Knowledge, the Skeptics Dictionary considers him, Brown, to be one of the leaders of the creation science movement. He proposes a specific version of flood geology called the hydroblade theory. Well, I thought that was thoroughly debunked long ago, but I don't know. Oh my word. It's amazing how crazy these people are.
Yep.
And then you have to wonder what's going on when you have people like Jason Lyle, Georgia Purdom. What the heck is the Australian's name? I keep forgetting. The
Ray Comfort?
the
Or
the,
no,
New Zealand.
Ken Ham.
the alleged
Com-
the alleged
Comfort's from New Zealand. Yeah.
the alleged geologist who works for Ken Ham.
Oh.
Just who's a discredit to his PhD. Yeah, I mean these people are actually credentialed, and they have betrayed their credentials
Mm-hmm.
to go on with this crap. I have to.
I suspect money.
I have to wonder how much they get paid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. One of the arguments I do hear from like creationists and all those sorts of people for why scientists have not fallen in line with the theological view is money. And then you get a bunch of scientists going, you realize how much we don't make off of this
Yes.
stuff. Like, we don't acquire personal wealth because of these things. You know, like we have to go out begging for grants, and you think we're gajillionaires?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we have tons of student debt, and you think we're gajillionaires? That's
Ah!
wrong with you.
There's the name. Andrew Snelling. That piece of shit.
Snelling. I don't know why. Snelling always sounded to me like a childish way of saying snot.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know. Maybe it's because I was so little the first time I heard it. And actually, I think it was Snell rather than Snelling, but whatever. It always sounded like it was a euphemism for something rude.
Ah. Okay, I thought that snell referred to something. A snell is a short line of gut or horsehair by which a fish hook is attached to a longer line.
Okay.
Yay.
I don't know. It amuses me sometimes how many like surnames are just professions. You know, like Smith and Cooper.
Yes, yes.
Baker,
Yep.
Miller.
Yep.
Fletcher, absolutely.
Yep. I mean, I don't know why that amuses me, but it does.
I mean, that was a significant source of surnames at one time.
Yeah.
You know, you were what you did. Yeah.
Yeah, it's how they identified you.
I always find it interesting, like you get those countries where when you say someone's name, you say their family name first.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I found that interesting. It says something about the culture.
Yes, it does. I mean, consider. I don't know how many outside of East Asia do it, but Japanese, Chinese, Korean. Let me think. I can't.
Bajoran.
Well, yeah. I'm actually kind of surprised, like, that it's not an Italian thing, given just how strongly Italians care about family.
Moo.
You know, and I can say that without sounding racist or ethnicist, because damn it, half my family's from Sicily. You know, so I'm speaking from experience here. It's not a stereotype that has no basis.
Picture this:
And
Sicily,
there's also
1921.
and there's also nothing about it that is negative.
Mm-hmm.
Really,
Yeah.
caring about family. It can turn toxic if you do it wrong, but you know, there really ought to be like a term that's like racism, but for people who are prejudiced against a culture, or people who are prejudiced against like cultural behavior, I guess, ethnic behavior, you
Okay,
know,
which
like
might be a word that would describe the way you feel about the Quebecois. Yeah.
yeah, the Quebecers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, well, that and honestly, I just cannot stand the sound of French. It grates on my ears. It really does. But yeah, I mean, because there were definitely people who were like, well, I was shocked when I found out that some people used to think that Italians and Irishmen were not white. Like that was
Right.
seriously a thing at some point, and I find that so strange. But it happened.
Yeah, you had to make them other somehow. So why not do it that way? Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, well, that's the thing though. They didn't have to make them other. I mean, like I can understand when someone is so radically different, like oh my gosh, look at their skin color, like that's such an immediately apparent thing. But you couldn't necessarily tell that someone is like Irish or Italian immediately. I
Right.
mean, hell, goodness knows that a lot of people will mistake Italians and Jews for each other.
Well,
No, I mean that is definitely a
yeah,
thing.
it is a thing, and it's kind of, in its own way, the same sort of neighborhood. I mean, there's a little bit of separation going on there, but you've got that whole thing around the shores of the Mediterranean.
But
So,
I mean, the point being though is like, uh, saying that Irish people aren't white is basically just saying like yeah, we have to other these people. But it's completely cultural rather than genetic, I guess.
oh right,
We don't like them whiskey drinking whatever people. I mean, it's like, yeah, they may be white, but they're not our white or something. That's the kind of thing that people probably came up with just to justify that hatred when they
uh,
didn't have skin color to fall back on.
You are preaching to the choir. Because I'm
Yeah.
the same. I am the same kind of mostly kraut that I grew up with a bunch of other krauts, and I was regarded as poor white trash.
Hmm.
mm,
So I was completely othered and ostracized, and there was no racial discrepancy in actuality at all, and yet they found some way to be racist to me.
okay,
Uh, the,
this is
the
what I
one that
thought.
knocks me out are the people who are racist against themselves because they don't want to be like associated with, I guess, the people that are taking it in the neck. I mean, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I guess what? I guess you can call those the Uncle Toms. I don't know.
I don't know if that's it or what you would call them. Um, maybe an Uncle Tom. It's difficult. I was just looking here, and I had suspected, and I see that a large part of the reason here that the Irish were disliked was jobs. The Irish were
What? Oh, jobs.
jobs. The
Okay.
Irish were taking jobs, and I suspect that it was very much like the problem that you see now where
with
oh,
Mexicans.
these Mexicans are going to take all the jobs. The
Yep.
jobs that Americans don't want anyway.
That
Um,
is a very good point. Is like we don't want to do these jobs, but we don't want the brown people to have them.
but but they want the result of the labor. That's the other thing.
Hmm.
Yeah. So it's where is the logic? I don't get it. I really don't.
Well, I think it's just completely illogical, frankly.
Mm-hmm.
You
I'd
know,
agree.
I mean, these people are not the racist people. They're just reacting with their lizard brain. You know,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
all visceral.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know with the cross-border traffic reduced as much as it is, because Mexico is actually rational and saying close the borders. We don't want you Americans here. With your COVID, your disease, um, you don't have the migrant workers crossing the border, and crops are being left to rot in the fields. I
Yeah.
don't. Food prices. I I'm seeing them go up already, and I have a feeling they're going to be really skyrocketing. Is anyone going to be able to afford to eat? I don't know. Well, the very rich, yes, but
Well, I suspect that the rich are going to find themselves on the business end of some guillotines before much longer.
at Tabestranda.
I mean, you cannot do this kind of thing to people and get away with it for too long.
Mm-hmm.
And what is it like? The any society is 3 meals away from revolution, is it?
I think that's pretty much it. I think that's the way the saying goes. Yeah.
So, oh, that's
I don't know. Yeah. Um, I fear. I fear trouble coming, and I fear it coming soon.
See, I'm not entirely certain that I fear it. I almost look forward to it, frankly. Just
Well,
because it's about time. It's about time that people stood up to this shit.
mm-hmm. I mean, well, fear in the sense of expect. I believe there is a sense of the word fear that's kind of it, unless I'm totally wrong on this one.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time.
Right, and it won't be the last. A sentence might be, I fear that the age is at an end, or something like that. You're not necessarily frightened, but I'm expecting that this is done, or something like that.
Well, you're talking about a rebellion or a revolution, right?
Oh
More
yeah.
or less.
Oh yeah.
So
More
it's
than
definitely
less.
something we need. It's definitely something we need, but bear in mind there will be casualties.
Oh yeah. And
Oh,
And that's what you're justifiably afraid of.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's going to be casualties, but honestly, I don't see how we could avoid that ever.
right. I mean-
Something's gonna give, something's gonna break.
Something has
It's
to.
not necessarily gonna be anybody's fault, and there will be casualties.
I mean, all I ask is that if I am a casualty, please, I want it to be quick and clean. That's it. It won't be, but
Hmm.
Oh, look, pancakes! Yay, Greg. I haven't had pancakes in a very long time. No, I'm not going to make any today.
Been a minute or two for me. I like pancakes.
Yeah, they're all right.
So do I. Pancakes, waffles. I
Waffles are good.
I bought a waffle iron specifically to make waffles, and I had a really nice run of waffle making for just about any of the meals. The breakfast or the lunch or the dinner or the pre-breakfast or the post-dinner or the early
Eating like
post.
a hobbit.
Say again.
I said you're eating like a hobbit.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Oh my! Thank you for recognizing that. Oh my! I ought to go back and reread that. But I kind of liked The Hobbit. I'm weird that way.
Eh, well, I mean, I've read Lord of the Rings, and honestly, Tolkien's not the best writer in the world.
No, he's
he's
not
he's a bit
Nobel.
dry.
Yeah, I mean, he's not Nobel in literature quality. Definitely not.
Well, even if he was, just I don't know.
I'm
But
just impressed about the elaborate history and writing the Elven language and that sort
yeah,
of stuff. I think that's neat. But yeah, dude is very dry and encyclopedic.
and I
Yeah,
will
that's
say,
the huge problem. Is like him and say George R.R. Martin and Frank Herbert refused to leave anything to the imagination.
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
that's the huge problem I had
oh,
with them. Is
over
just that like,
description.
oh yeah, and pages upon pages upon pages, and I'm just like, dude, it's entertainment, not a TED talk.
Yeah, pretty much. Although I will say, say what you will about J.R.R. Tolkien, he was no J.D. Salinger. Um,
Well, I wouldn't know about that. Although, let's face it, J.D. Salinger is no Tolkien or Heinlein or anything. Dude did not write science fiction.
well, right, and he didn't write well at all. I mean, oh God, when I was maybe 11 years old or so, I read Catcher in the Rye, and I got through it, and it was rather nice. I kind of liked it. Tried to reread it again a few years ago, and it's like, why did I even like this shit? Um, just like
Well,
When Worlds Collide. That was another one I read around that time when I was young, and When Worlds Collide, After Worlds Collide, I loved those two. Tried to read them again within the last 10 years, and it's like, what did I ever see in this garbage?
um, I don't know. I've never actually read When Worlds Collide. I've watched the movie, and to be perfectly honest, I thought it was kind of racist.
Oh yes, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, like at the end of the movie, everyone's escaping, and like the spaceship of the people who were allowed to escape is pure ass white.
Yes, yeah.
It's like there is not one person of color of any stripe in that spaceship at all.
Well, none of those people counted. Yeah.
Well, that did seem to be the prevailing opinion of the day.
Because I'm trying to remember when this was written. Um, I'm thinking in the 30s, but I could be wrong on that one. I don't want the film. I want the book. 1933. Yes, so consider the era.
No, actually. I mean, like, I can understand people wanting me to, but I'm not gonna.
Okay then.
No, I mean, seriously, uh, maybe it was a product of its time.
Well, no.
But
In
that
other
doesn't.
words, no. I'm not apologizing for it. I'm basically saying that was a time when this garbage was prevalent.
Hmm.
Yeah. No. No apologies attempted.
They are kind of limited by their, the sensibility of the time, the trends, and just the knowledge and conception of things people
Mm-hmm.
had. And that's not meaning to be apologizing for anything either, just the fact that there were certain limitations. They couldn't conceive of the things we think of today. That's why we're doing new shit today. Or we're just rehashing old shit.
Still, I find it so bizarre, some of these attitudes that people have had over the years.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, just like another book of its time was the one published in 1888 called Looking Backward by Edward Bellamy, where you had somebody who was in a suspended animated state or somehow like this from 1887 to 2000. And then you hit the whole book is a description of what the world was going to be like in the year 2000, and it was all Marxist, it was all communist, that sort of thing, and that's what was prevalent at the time. So that's what you got. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. They limit your choices when they point a gun to your face. you know.
I don't know how I ended up with 2 copies of that book, but I did.
To who? What's it?
I don't know how I ended up with 2 copies of Looking Backward, but I did. One of the very few books of which I have two copies. The
Maybe you looked backward, turned around, and looked forward.
could be. Yeah. Yeah, the collection of Sherlock Holmes stories is another one where I have multiple copies.
Never got into Sherlock Holmes.
I dig Sherlock Holmes. I didn't get that into it myself, and I don't think I ever read any of the books, but
Oh, maybe
I'm
if
not
it was
very well
Sherlock.
read, though.
Now, maybe if it was Sherlock Holmes in space.
Didn't somebody?
I think
Jer-
I think that's a large part of it. Is I just don't like the era in which it's set. I like anything before 1980, unless it's Star Wars, which took place a long time ago. I'm probably not interested, unless, of course, it's more like medieval Europe fantasy type stuff with dragons and elves and shit. But even then, that's not the real world. It's just like that old timey era does nothing for me except possibly stimulate my gag reflex.
Did you ever see that 90s cartoon, Sherlock Holmes, in the 24th century?
Never heard of it.
It's
Oh my!
cheesy as shit, but it exists. Like
Okay.
somehow they bring Sherlock Holmes. I don't think it was time travel. It might have been. I can't remember. It's been a long time.
There was one episode. Oh wait, no, I'm wrong. It's not Jack. Or it's not Moriarty. There was an episode of Babylon 5 where it turned out that the Vorlons had captured and put into suspended animation Jack the Ripper.
Wolfie.
Yeah, but for some reason I was like thinking it was Moriarty, but it wasn't. Yeah. But no, seriously, like show me something with some technology to it. Show me something with some civilization to it. You know, I look at like the horse-drawn cart era and I'm like, nah, I'll skip it.
Oh my.
Like I still feel lied to about where we'd be at this point in history. In 2020, we should be colonizing fucking Mars right now. In fact, no, I take that back. The colony on Mars should have already been active for 20 years. You know, I mean, the year 2000 was supposed to be this magical, like point beyond which we'd be living like the Jetsons. And it didn't happen, and I'm still pissed off about it.
Yeah, where
are the flying cars and the entire meal and the entire meals in a pill and
exactly. Yeah, where the hell is all that stuff? I was told we'd have it by now. It's just unfair. It really is.
See, this might sound a little strange, but this conversation kind of reminds me of it. What do y'all think about the idea of nutrients in a patch? Like we have various patches for medicines, right? Like nicotine patches and whatnot. What do you think of the idea of nutrients, food, in a patch?
To what end?
Yeah.
To provide you the nutrients you need without having to physically eat. And
well,
maybe
I mean, what's to stop someone from slapping 1,000 patches onto their arms?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I rather like eating.
Yeah.
Well, and it might be a survival thing. You know, it might replace MREs or something. I mean, there can be a lot of different applications for it.
Now, I don't know how real it was what I saw or how soon it is that we might get it, but I was looking at a forum about virtual reality, and apparently someone, I want to say it was Elon Musk, but it could have been anybody, has developed this helmet that will stimulate parts of your brain from outside, and it will be like a fully immersive experience. So what if we had this nutrient patch of yours, and if we wanted to eat, we could just like turn on the full course Thanksgiving dinner meal thing.
Interesting.
On the helmet, so that we could have that experience of eating without actually having to ingest anything.
That might not be bad. Really?
Yeah.
And it could also, another application is just like the regulation of nutrients. You could, and your like, idea adds to that, so you can go in and just binge all you want and have the full experience of eating, but the patch will regulate the nutrients you need instead of just stuffing your head with a bunch of junk food.
Well, you ever notice how in Star Trek nobody's a fat ass?
Yeah. Well, there are a few plump ones.
Well, okay. Post Next Generation, the only person I can think of who was of a certain size was when they discovered Scotty in like a subspace distortion. It's like the only time I can think of.
Well, actually, he was in a transporter buffer.
Well, whatever. Point being that he was the only time I can think of where there was a beached whale on Star Trek.
Yeah, there's been others in the Next Gen series that were a little plump.
Also, you notice how, like, with the exception of Geordie LaForge, nobody wears glasses.
Right. Well, and even Geordie's visor was considered antiquated.
Well, okay, but point being is that pretty much nobody has what we would consider defects except for male
Correct.
pattern baldness.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, let's face it, Captain Picard did baldly go where no one had gone before.
Yep.
Indeed. But I can't fault him for that. I'm a baldy myself. No, actually, I'm not bald. I just use transparent hair dye.
There you are.
Right. Oh, okay.
Actually, I totally knew it was coming though, because my hair had been thinning since I was probably at least a sophomore in high school,
Okay, okay.
and it was a slow 20-year progression. So it's like it was no big deal. Every step of the way it fell within full expectation. So
It's funny. My dad, his hair has thinned, but it hasn't. Like, it doesn't look like he's about to go bald anytime soon. It just seems like he has less of it now than he used to, and I find that odd. Because it's not male pattern baldness or anything. It's not like the top of his head or is there a name for the kind of bald that Bill Murray and Richard Nixon went, where they still have this one patch in the middle, but it's on either side that it's going back?
I don't
You
know.
know, but my dad's not doing that. He's just less hair all over.
Um,
And I don't know, I think that's strange. You know what's funny is, like, I guess I just never really paid much attention to the concept or whatever, but I was an embarrassingly large number of years old before I realized that what Bill Murray has is baldness and not a weird haircut, like 1/6 of a mohawk.
okay. Oh,
yeah, he'd
jeez.
probably have more hair if he. Well, he did have a lot more hair back in the day, so he certainly would have more hair if he could.
It's funny, I never really thought of it until now, but it's strange to me how few other Saturday Night Live alums were in the Blues Brothers. Like, you would have thought that Bill Murray or Dan Aykroyd would have shown up at some point.
Okay.
Well, I mean, because Blues Brothers is from Saturday Night Live, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, how much of the Saturday Night Live Blues Brothers?
But I mean, Bill Murray. I'm shocked Bill Murray wasn't in it. I'm kind of shocked Eddie Murphy wasn't in it. I'm kind of shocked that who else? I don't know. I'm blanking on Saturday Night Live actors. I mean, I guess like Gilda Radner, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dan Aykroyd wasn't it. I don't know what I was thinking there. But I'm just saying is like, most other Saturday Night Live movies have a lot of Saturday Night Live people in them. I'm surprised the Blues Brothers didn't.
Yeah, but how often did they show up in the actual SNL Blues Brothers skits? I actually don't remember any of them from Saturday Night Live, really.
But still, it's I don't know. And what's weird is, like, as bizarre as the Blues Brothers got, it's still one of the Saturday Night Live like based movies that I can think of that feels the most realistic. I mean, sure, people aren't going to have big ass dance numbers like they did in that movie, but it didn't feel like it was a constant elbow in the ribs. Like I could almost take it seriously in a way. It had some verisimilitude. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
It was in a weird way a little more serious.
Yeah.
It just had a different kind of humor than the other SNL stuff.
It was as much vibe as anything else.
Yeah. But you had a lot of different writers on SNL. And they did a lot of different stuff even on that show. So, kind of everything that comes from there You could expect it to be a little different.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like I don't know. I don't know.
It's a
hard.
variety show, so you know.
Yeah.
Come on.
I'm not sure how much longer I'm gonna last. I am hungry. I haven't had breakfast yet.
I know that feeling. I was just looking, and I'm amazed that we've still got 6 people watching. You guys, I don't know.
Oh, that is it. I mean, it's Monday, right?
Monday,
I'm sure some of our
Monday.
well, no, but I mean, I'm sure that some of our usual viewers, despite the plague, are at work.
Yeah, could be, could be. Indeed, he does. It was very inconsiderate of my birthday to fall on a Monday.
You know what's funny? Like I'm reading over some of the trivia from the Next Generation episodes I've been watching, and as much as the rest of the crew kind of thought that Data's poetry was awful, I kind of liked it.
Okay.
I kind of dug it too.
Yeah, like he has this one poem about his cat called An Ode to Spot.
Mm-hmm.
That was actually pretty good. I liked it. I mean, yes, it was very clinical because Data's not emotional, but it was still a well-crafted poem.
Okay, on a scale of Robert Frost to a Vogon, where would Data's poetry fall?
Shel Silverstein?
Okay, okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know if you want to hear it. I've got it right here. I can read it.
Oh my, how do you like that one?
It's like, Felis catus is your taxonomic nomenclature, an endothermic quadruped, carnivorous by nature. Your visual, olfactory, and auditory senses contribute to your hunting skills and natural defenses. I find myself intrigued by your subvocal oscillations, a singular development of cat communications that obviates your basic hedonistic predilection for a rhythmic stroking of your fur to demonstrate affection. A tail is quite essential for your acrobatic talents. You would not be so agile if you lacked its counterbalance. And when not being utilized to aid in locomotion, it often serves to illustrate the state of your emotion. Oh, Spot, complex levels of your behavior you display denote. Oh, that's supposed to be the. Someone cut that part off. Oh, Spot, the complex levels of behavior you display denote a fairly well developed of cognitive array. And though you are not sentient, Spot, and do not comprehend, I nonetheless consider you a true and valued friend.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
Shel Silverstein.
watching him read it, I was just like, this is pretty good. Why the hell? Well, okay, I know why Riker was yawning. It was nothing to do with the poetry. But still, I mean, it was, I enjoyed it, and I couldn't understand the boredom on the part of the audience.
Oh my. Yeah, that is a definitely nice little piece of work there.
Yeah. I don't know.
I get it. Yeah, I liked it.
From one.
I'm not very well read though. You guys are slinging these famous authors all over the place, and I'm lost on most of it, unfortunately.
But I mean, Shel Silverstein was the childhood author who did like Where the Sidewalk Ends and all of those.
Oh, he did Listen to the Mussants, didn't he?
That's not familiar to me. I've never heard of that.
I'm pretty sure that was him.
He's the one who did The Giving Tree, wasn't he? Yeah, here we go. The Giving Tree, A Light in the Attic, Falling Up, The Missing Piece, Runny Babbitt. I'm not sure, they don't list all of his books, but yeah.
Well, Listen to the Mussants was just one of his poems. I don't know what book it's from, but
okay.
You should definitely check that one out.
Listen to the Mussants. Okay, I was misunderstanding. I thought Mussins, Mussens.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's I can actually I have it memorized. I can actually do it.
Go.
It's very short though.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah.
So there's a childhood album called Naughty Songs for Boys and Girls that I recently found on YouTube, but I used to listen to it when my age was in the single digits. And it's not as amusing as I thought I was when I was little, but it's still funny. There's this one song that's absolutely freaking twisted where it's like, hey, Jack, what's in the sack? What's in the sack that you're carrying on your back, Jack? And it turns out that it's like there's a kid inside. And
Okay.
it's like,
Yikes.
oh, it's little Billy Nicholson. What you got him in there for? Hey, Jack. Like that. It's just this crazy song. But most of the album is stuff like you can't say on the radio, you can't say on the radio, like that. And of course, there's never cook your sister in a frying pan, like that. It's silly stuff, but that one about Hey Jack is terrifying when you're 5.
Yup. I'm not sure how the 80s were for you, but around Iowa, there was a huge kidnapping scare. There was, I mean, us kids always had this specter of being kidnapped, and it was because of Johnny Gosh. I don't know if you've ever heard of Johnny Gosh at all.
I don't think so.
He was famous, especially in Iowa. He was a paper delivery boy that got abducted in Des Moines on his paper route.
Was he ever found?
His mother tells a story of being visited by a man a few decades later that said basically he had sort of become a part of the people who had abducted him, and they're vicious, criminal, and somehow powerful people, and there's just no way to rescue him, and he's stuck in some kind of of life.
So no.
Sounds like child trafficking thing or whatever, maybe.
Oh man, there was something really sick that happened in Seattle not too long ago. This guy who was part of the Seagoth scene had apparently been spending a lot of his time doing child trafficking. Now, I never read the police report about it. He also used to DJ in the goth scene. Now, I didn't read the report about him, but the people who did were like, don't, it will traumatize you. I mean, nothing about child trafficking and a sex ring should involve the words 4-month-old.
Oh my fucking God.
But it was sick, some of the stuff this guy did. And the scary part is, like, I knew him. I had spoken to him many times, and I had no idea he was pulling this shit.
Egads.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
I once had a I don't even know how to describe this person, an upstairs neighbor that ended up going to prison for murdering a person doing the job I'm doing right now. In a hotel up in Minnesota.
Oh, right.
So, like, I had altercations with a would-be murderer. That's pretty freaky.
Well,
but I stood my ground and stood up to dude, and that's all it took for him to back down. So, like, the night clerk he murdered was a female, and he raped and murdered her.
I don't know. Hopefully not in
pretty
that
weird.
order.
But it's pretty weird that I had screaming matches with this guy until the neighbors called the cops. And then a couple of years later, he ends up murdering. It's pretty freaky.
It's kind of weird when you go back and, like, find out things about people you used to know. But, like, I seem to remember there was this kid who lived in my neighborhood named Jasper, And I find out later that he had been like killed in a car wreck. And I'm like, really? Is that what happened to him? Okay. Makes me wonder how many people who were in my graduating class who are no longer with us.
Okay, yeah.
And how many of them, like for how many of them is it not a huge loss?
Yeah.
Hmm.
You know, I mean, like, I haven't had contact with those people since graduation. There's like 5 people I still talk to from high school, and that's plenty, frankly.
Yep.
So like I mean, I never went to prom. I never did anything because I knew that it was just not a good idea with the jerks that were at my school.
Hmm.
I I don't know. Every now and then I'm tempted to look up some of them and find out who's in trouble, who's been in trouble. I mean, hell, how many of them have died from COVID? Any of them?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, these
Yeah.
are things I think about in my darker moments.
I have met, he was actually an on and off again friend over the years, but guy in my graduating class who lost his younger brother to cancer, and I knew his younger brother was only a couple years younger than us, so I knew and hung out with that dude too as a kid. So when I found that out, that was actually a little bit, oh, I
Hmm.
actually like that dude.
Yeah, there've been a few like that too, but not as many as, well, no biggie.
Hmm.
I don't know. There's a couple of kids from my neighborhood. Like I've mentioned before that my neighborhood used to be like wall to wall rednecks, and then the yuppies moved in and took it over. Um, and there were a bunch of families where, yeah, they would get into these knockdown, drag out fights, and nobody ever actually called the police, but maybe they should have. Um, and I found out that one of those people has been spending a fair amount of time in and out of jail. And I'm like, not shocked.
Hmm.
I remember that kid, and the fact that he's been in and out of prison a lot is not a surprise. But yeah, I mean, like, it was insane. The next door neighbors I had, and I know I've mentioned this before, their last name was Rock, and they gave all of their kids except for the daughter names that were alliterative with Rock. There was like Rodney, Roger, Ron, and I swear there was another one whose name I can't remember. But yeah, they were all alliterative names.
It is so disappointing when people do that.
And I wish I knew whether it was his actual name or a nickname, but the dad, I swear to God, was Rocky. Rocky Rock. Not kidding. Which I was. I wish I was making that up.
Eek.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Eek. Oh my.
Yeah. Oh, it was such a strange neighborhood when we moved in, and now it's still strange, but in a very boring way. Everyone's like Mr. and Mrs. Natural Fibers. That's the best way to
Mm-hmm.
describe Vermont, is all natural. Everything's
Mm.
handcrafted, made out of wood or clay, and all this stuff. It's like, I don't know. I don't know. It's farmer and hippie central.
Mm.
Okay.
Kind of skipping back to your rock story. I was thinking it's kind of funny if they would have named one of their kids Roland.
Oh,
No.
yeah, I guess.
No.
I don't know. For some reason, that reminds me of that one episode of The Big Bang Theory where Howard and Bernadette are talking about children's names. Um, and someone says well, how about place names are popular today? And Howard's like, what? Name my kid Walla Walla Wallowitz?
Okay.
Well, his last name's Wallowitz,
Yeah.
and it's like, yeah, Walla Walla Wallowitz. uh, And I have to say, in a weird way, like as much as it's actually kind of racist when I think about it, I'm a little bit sad that it's apocryphal. The tale of the woman who named her twins Lamangelo and Arangelo. You've
Oh,
heard about that one, right?
no.
Oh, it's this urban
Hmm.
legend about some woman gives birth to twins and can't figure out what to name them. But because she saw these names on the menu of the hospital, she decided to name them Orangelo and Lamangelo, which is orange jello and lemon jello. But
Okay,
but
then.
it's always the story is always told as some poor ethnic woman. So it's kind of a racist story, but in a weird way, it would have been hilarious if there were literally people walking around like, "Hi, my name's Orangelo." You know, I mean, so in a way, I was disappointed it wasn't true, but on the other hand, it's probably for the best.
Probably
Yeah.
for the best. Probably the best for the people that would have been named that. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
I'd have been
You knew
heading.
about John Cleese, right?
What
Of
about him?
Monty Python, that his actual family name was Cheese.
Really?
Yeah, and his father changed it. Um, and and John Cleese, you actually pronounce it Cleese, not Cleese, but
Yeah.
uh, um, yeah, he's like, well, I ended up getting into comedy, so actually Cheese would have been the perfect name for me. And
Well,
they call and in school they called him Old Cheese or something like that.
that there is a like a comedy lounge singer out there called Richard Cheese, right?
Uh, I may have encountered him. I don't recall.
And you get why that name's supposed to be funny, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, of
Richard
course.
Cheese, Dick Cheese.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hmm.
For those in the audience who don't grok. But
For
yeah.
those in the audience who were not circumcised.
I'll just take your word for that.
Oh, you don't
I
really
mean, no,
get
I
that.
understand what you're trying to say. It's
You
just
don't get it without the hood.
yeah. Well,
It's,
I'm just saying is I'm gonna have to like assume that you're correct on that one because honestly, I don't want to know. Oh, and I said correct.
Okay.
Well, okay, never mind. I'll just be over here. So, what are your thoughts on people who have twins and give them either rhyming or alliterative names?
They should be shot.
Okay.
I
Yeah, there
knew.
were a couple of twins in my neighborhood named Max and Louie, and I was like, okay, good.
Cool.
I knew several sets of twins who were saddled with that sort of naming scheme.
Hi, I'm Nikki, and here's my brother Mickey.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Is that you?
Yeah, that's my. That's probably a robocall on my flip
Mm.
phone.
Man, I'm so sick of the Chinese lady robocall. You know the one?
Yeah, I know the one.
Yeah. Like, I
Uh,
mean, if I could just get it to stop.
yeah.
Mind you, I really hope there's no Chinese people who fall for that shit, but who knows?
Unfortunately, probably more than a few.
Yeah. I actually got a private message on Facebook recently where someone said, "Hey, is this you in this video?" with a link. And I looked at the URL and I'm like, this is a scam, isn't it? And
Mm.
I figured what the hell and clicked on it. And like it said, "Oh, to view this video, you need to enter your Facebook password." And I was like, "Oh, this is a scam, all right." And so, yeah. And I don't know what's up. In the last 2 or 3 days, I've been getting like 20 new Facebook friend requests. And I'm like, did I get a shout out somewhere? Because if this is going to happen, I want it on my videos rather than Facebook.
Okay then. Yeah.
Well, what you gonna do? Richard Whiskey. Okay. I don't know. I mean, is that supposed to mean something? Is there like Rick Whiskey or Dick Whiskey out there somewhere that I'm unaware of?
It's my fortune not knowing on that for you.
Hmm.
I can't think of any. Unless
Yeah.
they used to have a weird way of determining proof back in the day.
So, okay, without going into too much detail, like I know what proof means,
Hmm.
but why not just make it a scale of 100 instead of 200?
I don't know. I really don't.
I
Um,
uh, I watched a video recently on this actually. Uh, Proof literally means like evidence. It's like proving that the alcohol you're purchasing. And they used to have this particular test to tell how much actual alcohol content was in the thing, and it was actually a very inaccurate test, but it's what they had back in the day. And that's where the term proof comes from, but it might, I'm not sure about the 200%. It might have to do with like translating the old test into more modern, like you said, 0 to 100%, because proof is just double of the percentage.
ooh, okay,
Yeah.
from this thing called
Well, has
this thing called mental floss, we have why is a liquor's proof double its percentage alcohol by volume? While the term proof stuck in America, the standard it refers to has nothing to do with gunpowder. Around 1848, 50% alcohol by volume was chosen as a baseline, and 100 was used for its corresponding proof. Thus, the proof is double the ABV, according to
that
this
still
thing.
doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so it amounted to be 50% alcohol was their standard for proof or evidence, so they considered that to be 100%.
Hmm. I don't know. Has anyone ever like considered metricizing it? You know, here is the alcohol proof in Celsius or
Okay,
something.
yeah.
I don't know.
It'd probably be what, liters if it's a fluid.
Well, yeah, but that's not as funny
Yeah.
as Celsius, which is
True
why I
that.
put it that way. You know, like I realize just how completely fucking inaccurate that is, but still, it's funnier.
Well,
You know, oh,
wine
wait,
is
no, there we
better.
go. It's this much alcohol centigrade.
Yeah. Well, and wine is better chilled, so it works.
Never been a wine drinker myself.
Not much myself either, but
Well, I mean,
they
I
tell
guess
me it's
part
better
of it is
chilled.
that, like, I don't drink alcohol to taste it, and a lot of wine is just here, taste it. So, I don't know. Like,
Okay, because
if I drink rum, I mean, rum's not bad, but I have to cut it with so much mixer to kill the rum taste. I mean, or at least to
Hmm.
lessen it.
okay, now that's interesting because the reason I will drink something is, for the taste. I love the taste of Scotch. It's got to be my favorite liquor, my favorite whiskey. Um,
I drink to get fucked up.
I kind of do too. I'm just not a very big drinker. Like I just recently drank a bottle of wine I got for free. It was rhubarb wine.
Hmm.
I drank it on Notch's show when I did the atheist flashback thing, and uh, it had been that was like on the 2nd of July, and it had been the 4th of July, 2018, that I had drank the last time before that. So it generally is about 1 to 3 years between times I'll drink anyway. So I'm
Yeah.
just not a big drinker. So I tend to go more for flavor. I'm not, I know I'm probably going to get drunk, especially since it doesn't take much. That
I
bottle of
honestly,
wine got me drunk.
I honestly couldn't imagine drinking alcohol to taste it. You know, it's like drinking non-alcoholic beer. Why? Beer is
Yeah.
gross, like all by
Mm.
itself, and so drinking it without the getting fucked up part seems like the opposite of why you should be drinking it in the first place. You know,
But
I
there are
mean, honestly,
there.
like I've been looking for more ways to get inebriated because honestly, sometimes I just need the break, and I don't know.
There's a few alcoholic beverages I really do like. Uh, the dude's Caucasian, which is like it's a same thing as a White Russian. It's Kahlua. That's pretty good.
Well, okay,
Uh,
some of the sweeter drinks, sure, but I'm talking
yeah.
like much
and
harder
mead,
stuff. Oh,
and mead
mead
is
is
awesome.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, mead is basically just honey wine.
Yeah, exactly. And that one I'll totally drink for taste. And there's also a dangerous concoction. I haven't really had a commercial version of this, just the homemade, which is just Everclear and apple cider,
Oh,
really, and it's called apple pie,
uh,
and it's a very dangerous drink because it tastes like apple cider. You barely, I could taste the alcohol, but you could barely taste it. It was not the predominant flavor, and so it's dangerous because it is alcoholic, very much so, and you can just sit and drink it like apple cider, and next thing you know, you're just freaking slammed.
oh, I've told many times the story of the 7 shots of Everclear, and how I could have, like, if it was an event in the Olympics, I could have barfed for my country. Yeah, I mean, it's a much longer story, but I know Diana's heard it before, so I'll spare her. But
Yeah.
still, I mean, yeah.
Oh,
I
7 shots would do me in.
Well,
remember.
the thing is, I didn't know that it was that much. Like, the girl I was crushing on just handed me a glass and said, "Here."
I remember consuming half a fifth of Bacardi, 151. That was an interesting evening.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago.
In a galaxy far, far away.
Oh yeah.
I used to drink Old English 40s. Like it's like a malt. It's like a ale or beer or whatever, but it's like malt ale or whatever, if that's a thing.
Hmm.
But they don't sell it here anymore because for some reason in Iowa they stopped selling 40 ounces. I never found out why.
Oh, it's probably one of those, well, the kids are getting their hands on them, and yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
that's why they stopped selling flavored cloves, is because, like, kids liked them.
yeah, which it doesn't make any sense to get rid of a 40-ounce bottle of alcohol. They're just going to go to 24 pack, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe it's like, oh, the 24 pack is harder to sneak out of the convenience store or something. I don't know. I
Maybe
mean,
I
what
don't know.
kind of laws, like blue laws, made any sense at all?
Yeah, it's I don't know if it's a silly Iowa thing or if other states have done it too, and I don't know.
Oh, Ohio had blue
Now each
laws.
state says malt liquor. I was trying to avoid the term malt liquor because I never thought of beer as liquor, but
Hmm. Well, I don't know. Like I'm not sure how anyone else is at holding their liquor, but I hold my liquor by the ears.
Okay,
Tail.
then.
Oh, come on. That was a good one, and you know it. Of course, it's also an old one. It's hardly original. Maybe that's why you groaned. Well, I
Oh, my.
really, really want to get up and have breakfast, but I'm pinned down by a Xander.
Oh, my.
And he could be here for hours. Unlike Columbia, like Columbia likes to get up and run away, Xander is probably going to be there for a long ass time unless I move him.
I bet you can just pick him up. I bet you're strong enough.
You can't pick up a cat. It's impossible. Although I have to dispute the claim that cats are liquid. No, they're gel. Cats are gelatinous.
Yeah. And speaking of gelatinous
Semi-solid,
cats,
please. No.
Yeah. Where is the local gelatinous
Trying to
cat?
remember what that stuff
There we are.
is. There was something I heard about once where, like, if you pick it up and hold it in your hand, it's squishy, but if you thwack it with a hammer, it suddenly hardens up.
It's a non-Newtonian fluid, like
Mhm.
cornstarch. It's
Yeah.
cornstarch with water. You can make a non-Newtonian fluid, and you can actually make a pool of it and walk on it. If you keep walking, you can't just like
Yeah.
stand there because then you'll sink. But
That one is called oobleck, if I remember correctly.
It's been a while since I've heard that term. I swear that's something else, but maybe I'm wrong. Like I said, it's been a long time.
Lonely, lonely, lonely time.
Just a long time, I'd say.
Diana led me astray.
Yes.
Man, I did not sleep well.
I didn't sleep at all last night. Anyway.
Assuming that's a song I don't know.
Oh, it's an oldie.
Yeah, definitely an oldie.
Who did it? Who did that one? Oh, I know I'm wrong. I want to say Jerry Lee Lewis. I know that's wrong.
Oh, someone's chasing bunnies. Ah! Okay, maybe Xander will be leaving. Nope, he's sitting back down. Someone made noises outside, and he did that sudden startled thing that cats do, and I thought he was about to leave, but nope.
Yeah, I'm looking. It's not that one. It's not that one. It's going to be a pain in the arse to find, so I'm not going to worry about it. Yeah, Harmonica Man. Harmonica Man says cobras are the same way. They're floppy until you punch them, then they harden up.
Nah, it's too bad the tornado's not still here.
Oh man.
Yeah, he's finally starting to own it.
Okay.
Like I don't know if you saw movie night on Friday, but he was like, "Oh, you guys, I should probably just accept it."
Okay then.
You know, I mean, I guess if you do embrace something like that, people are less likely to keep hitting you with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was kind of like when Stool and I were dueling back and forth.
Yeah.
you know, and I'm calling him Sample less these days, but still, I want to know what his thing is about
I
mermaids.
was just thinking the same thing. You know, great minds think alike.
Yeah, but what happened with us then?
I don't know.
Oh, someone's stretching now. Hello, Xander. Hello, looking me right in the eyes, you cute little monstrosity.
Meow, meow, meow.
Yeah. Never sure. Like, it's kind of fun sometimes to describe things in a way that at first sounds negative, but kind of isn't when you really think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, you meet someone's kid for the first time and you go, oh, what an adorable little monstrosity. And it's like, did you just compliment or insult my kid? You know, it was kind of like one time I was at a party and some dude brought like cake or brownies or cookies or something. And I tried one and looked him right in the eye and said, this tastes like the exact opposite of crap. And he paused for a couple of beats and then went, thank you. So,
Mhm.
you know, but yeah, it's like that sounded like a dig and it turned out it wasn't. And yeah, okay, it's getting critical. I gotta go get food. I'll catch you evil geniuses later.
Yeah, I should probably get some food myself. What do you think, Doc Honey?
I had food at the beginning of the show, so I'm good.
Well, later's is.
Take care, honey. Oh
TTFN.
my. Okay, so then we're
It's
two.
just me and you, kid.
Yeah. Hi, Rome Demon. Yay! New person shows up. Not exactly new. I mean, it's already been here, but you know, I can tell these things because of the spanner.
Oh, geographically speaking, you know, he's new.
There you are. There you are.
Can always fall back on that.
Well, if I fall back, I might break the aquarium. I don't want to do that.
You don't want to do that.
Oh boy, spray for
You don't want
chlorine.
to. You don't want to have to fish glass out of your flesh.
Yeah. And I don't want 20 gallons of water all over the place. Yeah, the tank isn't full yet. Yeah, another 10 gallons. It'll be nicely full. Yay.
Well, you finally did get fish, though, huh?
No, not yet. I'll probably get fish. I was thinking Labor Day, but maybe earlier than that, because now that I know why the water is the color it is, I'm not worried about that. Because yeah, that's just the tannins and stuff in the potting soil. So
Hmm.
maybe let it go until August, and then get a load and bring them here, and then once they're settled in, get another load. Oh,
What kind of
excuse
fish are you
me.
thinking about getting?
What I have in mind right now are neon tetras and angelfish.
Groovy.
I've kept them together before. The only thing I've got to make sure is that the tetras are too large to fit in the angelfish mouth.
No, my obvious question is, do they really glow in the dark? Or are they
No,
just brightly colored?
Yeah, that's that red, white, and blue thing they've got going.
Ah,
They're rather brightly
but
colored.
they got. I think they're expensive, but they do have those glowing fish now, don't they? Or don't they have those anymore?
No, they still have those, and
Yeah.
to be honest, I'm really not a
I
big
kind of dig
fan of
that.
that. I mean, if you like that sort of thing, okay, you know. Yeah, it's genetically modified. You take I forget where the
Mm.
source genes come from, but splice that in, and yeah, you get. And the problem with it though is that it kind of stresses them out to get them to glow
Oh, really?
because it's
They
under
don't just glow all the time?
right. It's under the black light.
Mm.
Let me look up because I saw an article on that at one point. Let's see what we've got over here.
It's unfortunate for.
Um, okay, let's see. Why you shouldn't. Let's see if that works. Uh, why did my glowfish? I don't know. I'd have to find. I could be full of shit, but I thought I remembered reading an article that they're stressed out.
Hmm.
Now this is a. I don't want. I don't want films. I don't want YouTube videos here. Yeah, because there's why you shouldn't buy a glow better, but it's a YouTube film, and I don't want to run a YouTube film.
Mm.
And then the truth about glowfish, and it's another YouTube film. I mean, I just wish you could get an article and read it. Oh
Mm.
well, it is. You know, what can I tell you?
Got a Wikipedia page on it. Yeah, it's Wikipedia, but it's kind of a springboard at least.
Yeah, Microraptor. The glow is it's a genetic modification. Um, let me look. How?
Did they send a gene from the firefly, or is it from like leaf or something?
Okay, wait a minute now. Okay, now this doesn't specify, but just the fluorescent protein genes are derived from naturally occurring genes found in marine organisms. On this one, I want to find the particular aminal they have in mind here.
By the way, Cy Strikling is here.
Hey, JC, hi. Dobrożnie. Which last I was told translates as yes, fermentation. Yes, I am old. I am very, very old. I am ancient. I'm decrepit.
I'm no spring chicken myself.
Oh, nete betronda. finding anything obvious. But then again, it is very moo. Very, very, very moo. Oh my.
Very moo.
Yes. That's usually a good thing. Yeah, I don't know what you're cutting in and out a little bit there. I don't know if there's a loose connection or what is happening over there. Yeah, there we go again.
Yeah, I barely hear you.
Okay, well maybe.
I don't know. Smartphone.
Yeah, maybe it is time to wind this up anyway. As far as that goes, as I say, it's time for some food, and then we'll get a nap before we go on the air again tomorrow. Oh my word, I'm doing a lot of stuff today or this week. But
Yeah.
yeah, I want to say thanks for coming by.
I didn't get around to wishing you a happy birthday on the air yet, so
Danke schön.
happy birthday.
Yay! Like what is it? The song that the kids used to sing back when I was a kid. Happy birthday to you. You live in a zoo. You look like a monkey, and you smell like one too.
A monkey, you act. Our version was you act like one too,
Oh, okay.
but
Okay.
I grew up in Iowa, so maybe ours is just a little nicer version.
There you go. Well, like I say, when you look at the R. Ross series, the systematic classification of life, he mentions that chimps, gorillas, and humans have the same stink glands. Yeah, we smell like apes.
Yeah.
Go figure. Yeah, absolutely, Micro.
And I thank my stink glands every day for it too.
Yeah, but I think we'd better start wrapping up. And
Alrighty.
I want to thank everybody who's here. I want to thank everybody who's not here. You guys are the reason I do this. And oh my word, here comes Purple. You just showed up as I'm
Oh, just in time.
Oh my. I don't know, honey.
Hiya, Perp. How you doing?
Oh my, oh my, oh my. Yeah, there you go. I was just starting up my my closeout. Oh no, we're still gonna do the thing here, and yeah, we've been on the air for about 3 hours now, and that's probably enough. I don't know why, JC, but thanks a lot. You know, what can I tell you? And
We do, Diana. We love you deeply and dearly.
Danke schön. Oh my. We're gonna have to talk to YouTube about that notification thing going on. Yeah. But as long as you guys keep liking this stuff, I'll keep doing it. You know, I've got no problem with that. Feels really nice to be appreciated, and I appreciate you, every one of you. And
You absolutely should. It's fun hanging out with you. I should do this more often.
well, it's not often that I broadcast on a Monday afternoon. Yeah, we usually do the.
Yeah.
We usually
I'm
do
always
Sunday
able
at
to
noon.
catch your Sunday show, but I don't always catch it.
Ta prožnje. Okay, sometimes it's hit over your head, right? You up there. No, huh? I'll be over there.
Yeah, sometimes.
But yeah. What
But
can
I'm
I
scared
tell
at
you?
these on these live chat streaming things. I want to do more often, but I am the spirit of fear, so hey.
There you go. But yeah, I guess what I'll say is just basically, thanks a lot, troops. See you on the other side.
TTFN.